Sweet. Cool. Yeah. This will be nice. I'll just get to work and then see if anybody shows up. Alrighty. Alrighty. Hey, Spam. How's it going? You might be the only one on today. We just figured we would do a little live session. Oh, and we got Jen. We're just doing a quick live session, just kind of doing our photo setup, and then we need to do some listing work anyway. So we figured if anybody else needed a listing buddy, we could also jump in here, and you guys could just see us at work. But hey, Record Crate. Oh, I'm sure you'll get a win today for sure. We already got one just by you showing up. Let's see. I'm like right in front of the microphone too. Hopefully, I'm not blasting you guys, but hey, so glad to see you all. Again, if you're just showing up, hey, Junk Trader. Well, you got a lot of people here. This is a sign that we need to all get a life for our Saturdays for sure. But I figured too. So again, if you're just arriving, I'm doing some listings. So if you want to just work along with me or whatever, but if nothing else, we haven't really shown you guys our actual photo setup yet. So we figured that might be kind of a good opportunity for. Oh, Jen, congratulations. Found some great stuff at sales. Yeah, we had to be really good at not like going the wrong direction for sales today because we had some specific projects we were trying to get done and there were sales everywhere. Absolutely everybody was out doing stuff. And hey, John Jones, welcome. So glad to have you with us. Let's see. You're avoiding your basement mess. Oh, that's good. Well, yeah, hopefully. So we're trying to get rid of some of our back room. Again, as you guys noted before, our profit piles. So we're going through and we're doing some listings and we're going through a lot of the items that we've been kind of putting off a little bit. Like you can't see it because it's kind of washed out a little bit. But like for this garment, it's got some defects and everything. So we're trying to get caught up on some of that. So we'll just go until I run out of my little pile here and figure it might be kind of fun. Again, if anybody else is doing some work and just needs a little distraction, and I'll try to quit hitting the pile so that it doesn't shake the camera like that the entire time. But just off screen, I've got my whole pile that I've got. Let's see here. I spy a tropical painting. Actually, so what'll also be possibly in frame at some point, spam, is some other goodies where we're doing the little hide and seek with great reseller life stuff. His card just arrived today, so that may or may not make an appearance at some point in frame today. But yeah, so a tropical painting. So let's see if I can do it right. Ooh, I can't do it. Here we go. Ooh. So this is actually Row. That's a painting. We love to do those like wine and paint night things. And so if you actually look around our house, we have no artwork that's like professionally done by somebody else. We just have a bunch of like semi. I mean, I think rows are good, but for mine, we got a bunch of like semi garbage paintings that we've done with those little, wine and paint night things. But it's fun. We like to just have some fun painting and stuff. And then every once in a while, I'll do like a truly bad one, and then we'll take that home and we'll just like repaint over it or something. So, but yeah, so that's the tropical. Ooh, that's the tropical painting that you see there. But yeah, so I've got a pile here. I haven't pre-sorted these very much at all yet. So usually I like to have them sorted to where it's tops and then bottoms. But for these, we've been in such a rush, they're pretty much a mix between both, and then also a mixture of different conditions too. So you'll probably be seeing me set some aside that will either need some follow-up cleaning or might, if they're really poor condition, they might actually just be going right to Mexico for those donations. So we'll see how that rolls. But anyways, I'll get to work here so that you guys don't have to hear me yapping very much. I'll check in on the chat periodically, but my apologies in advance if I miss any messages. But in the meantime, we're just going to kind of get to work, and you'll also be able to see kind of the different steps that we take as we go through and we're starting to get pictures. So spam from you guys' suggestion, I'm already going into my phone and I'm adjusting it to where it's going to be taking square images as opposed to the super long images. So that's what I learned from you guys, and it fits the frame very well. So yeah, but it's great to see everybody on today. How's everybody's Saturday been rolling? In fact, I'll just kind of get right to work here. It's weird having somebody look over your shoulder. It's like same thing when you're typing. Like, okay, then now we'll be extra self-conscious as we go through each step of the way here. Plus, I don't know about for everybody else, but for where we're at, it's crazy hot, and we still don't have. We've got a portable AC unit, but we haven't set it back up yet since the winter time. So we're kind of winging it right now. So we've got a ceiling fan, which is nice, and I might open up the back door in just a moment. But yeah, in regards to the heat, you might see me sweating a bit here. But yeah, hope everybody's having a nice Saturday. Ro and I are we're actually so our washing machine is starting to die. So one thing we were out doing today is we were out looking at washing machines, and we're gonna try to get one that's even more energy efficient, and water efficient, and all that stuff. So we're trying to look around and see what we can find. So right now, just to give you kind of an explanation of what I'm going through. So when we start taking pictures, the first shot that we get is just an overall of the garment in a relaxed state. Then from there, we do the across the chest. We do shoulder to bottom of the hem. Then we do across the shoulders, and then we do sleeve length. And then every once in a while, depending on the garment, we might actually do. If I could get it right here. Every once in a while, too, we do across the collar. So, hey, Texas Bandit, so great to see you. Again, this is our very first ever where we're going through and we're just actually showing our photo setup for at least our clothing. Right behind me on the other side, actually, you'll see our light box that we have set up too for smaller items. And I'm going to be doing that a little bit. I've already sorted some of our individual model kits that I was showing the other day on the screen. So I'm going to be getting some photos of those as well. So anyways, great to have everybody that's able to pop in. I know it's a very last minute, last second thing, but I figure somebody else might be working on a Saturday, and it'd be good to have a little reseller support for all that stuff. So, and if you have any questions too, feel free to jump in there and share, and we'll be happy to provide any answers that we can on our process. But I can't emphasize enough, to quote Ken Daigle, guru alert, where we're not saying we're super pro on any of this stuff, but we found a process that we enjoy a lot. And what we found for us that if we enjoy the process, we do it more. And so we're more productive. So we try to be as efficient as we can. But at the end of the day, our biggest goal is that we enjoy the process, and that keeps us moving. So you got to go with what works, right? So let me go ahead here. Let's do this. Now, this garment is a little bit tricky for me because it's an open garment. So I kind of just like to get the measurements across when it's at rest. And for those of you that do clothing, you probably know a better way to do it. But it's kept our clients happy so far. So we always call the customers clients too. It makes it feel like that effort's just a little bit more worth it. So I get a picture of the measurement at the top of the shoulder, and then I get a picture of the bottom of the hem close up so that people can see it very clearly, because otherwise we keep trying to get it far away, and then people are trying to zoom in with their camera, and we've had complaints about that before. No bad feedback specifically, but just people that are like, hey, can you get me a better shot of the measurement here because I can't quite see it? And so that's what we try to do. And so far, so okay. All right, let's see. Yeah, working hangout. You work, we hang out. You know what? One thing that my wife and I found is that even if we're not working, watching somebody work makes us feel very productive. So, we want to be a nice support. You'll hear Ro in the background too, that Ro's working on a separate project, but she's back there. So you'll hear Ro giggle every once in a while if something I say is ridiculous, or maybe that she actually legit finds funny. We'll see. Oh, Roto made you win, and she's logging in. That's great. So let's see here. Picture of that. Picture of the tag. So this item was a return. So if it's new with tags, we don't usually have much concern about getting photos of the pit. But because this is a reticket tag, and so it's been returned previously, in that case, we try to make sure that we get a picture of it, just so that somebody is very, very aware of the fact that, hey, since this garment has come back, there might be some usual spots where you're expecting to see wear, and here's the wear that you're finding. So one thing I'm doing as well, again, you can't quite see it on the camera. It looks a bit washed out, but on the shoulder, there's a few defects where there's some markings that are kind of almost like a scratch in the fabric. So I'm zooming in on those, and then I'll do this too, where I do the finger point. I think I've heard of several resellers do that, and we learned that specifically from Chris Land with Daily Refinement, and that was a good tip. We love applying that one. So, and here I also do a close up of the sleeve. That I don't know for anybody else, but like for me, if I'm going to get a shirt, I actually do like to know how the cuff is going to be fitting on the hand. And I mean, maybe that's standard practice. It probably totally is, but For me, I was like, well, I haven't seen somebody give us a specific tip on that, but for me, I love to do the sleeve just because it makes it nice to know, like, okay, how is that going to attach? Is there a button that I can unbutton or not? And all that fun stuff. So, again, I'm probably sharing a lot of information that is like a no duh, or maybe I should do it something totally different, but we're still fairly new and it's worked out pretty okay so far. So, we'll try to keep it rolling. Well, as I knock everything over here. Okay, so let's see here. One thing too that we don't do that we see a lot of other clothing sellers do, which will be a lot more apparent, I think, when we actually get to bottoms, is that a lot of sellers will go ahead and they'll put it kind of in a V pattern, especially for like pants on their side. But because we do just kind of a little bit more of a natural hang, we just do the straight up and down so that the pants will just hang flat. But we enjoy that. But see here, yeah, I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. And Roro, thank you very much for taking care of some of the chat assist as well. Hopefully the lights aren't too blinding. I see a lot of lens flare in there, so we'll have to work on that setup to make it easier on everybody. But hey, Jet, I've been working alongside you, but my accounts are shut down last night around 7 p.m. We need a little bit further explanation on that, man. Did they actually shut down your eBay account? Yeah, some context would be really valuable. Sorry that you're going through that. That's terrible. But here, let's see here. Yeah, John Jones, I still love that. You work, we hang out. Well, that's cool. And again, we know this is a last minute live, but we're trying to learn what the best way is to just share our process. And so we're definitely, like we mentioned in an earlier video, we're definitely build a plane on the runway kind of people in some cases. So we really try to make sure that we're honest about whatever it is and where we're at. Should you get that? Just a little bit. There we go. It's more real to the hang for sure. All right, so let's take a look here. And so even for this garment, I'm going to put it in our done section. This is a nice Anne Klein kind of open, just cover up there. But we're gonna, it's almost like cardigan really, but it's awful light. But so I'm going to put this in the done pile, but I'll make a note on it that there's some touch up that we could still apply to try to make it a little bit more clean. There's a couple areas of it that aren't messed up, but they've just got some dirt stains. And if at all possible, we like to take an extra minute and clean it up. We know that's not the most efficient process for clothing sellers, but again, we kind of baby it when it comes to what we're selling just for our own sanity. So maybe at some point in the future, our own sanity will be not worrying about it and just letting it go. But for right now, it does. So that's what we do. Alrighty. This might be the first time we really get troll activity where they're like, okay, well, that bothers us that you just do that. Why don't you just do it a better way? This is a nice Valerie Stevens Petites skirt that we came across too. That we've been finding a lot of really fun vintage items as of lately that we enjoy a lot. So now for this here, one thing that we've been advised on that's really been helpful is absolutely making sure that we do like a full pull on the waist. That was something that you'll see in a lot of items that are still existing in our store, that we'd get it where it's very relaxed in the pictures, and then somebody gets in and it's either too loose or it's just not the right fit. So we're trying to give it an honest stretch at the waist, but also we don't max it, because we found too, we kept getting a lot of returns from individuals where technically that's the max stretch for the skirt, but it wasn't really comfortable for them to wear. So we're trying to find a happy medium as we go through, and we're gathering up all the measurements. I'm actually a lot chattier through this thing than I was expecting to be, but without context, it might be a little bit up in the air what I'm actually doing, or at least the logic behind the process. So let's see here, top, the bottom, and also the side for the skirts. Cool. And then get a picture of the tag up close. Says that this skirt was originally $72, and the discount on the tag says it was $50. So it probably sold for $20 if it wasn't already discounted to like 10 or $15. But let's take a look here. So I'm going to flip that back. And see, Jet, they shut me down. The second account raised a flag due to too many listings and too many sales in a short period of time. Man, they said the account was a threat to the community. Well, are they going to be fixing that? I mean, I'm sure that they are because I don't think that you're going to have to stick with that, right? Yeah, that's wild, Jet. Sorry to hear that. And that was eBay specifically, or were you on a different platform? I'm guessing it was eBay. It's driving me crazy. My head's all cockeyed in my head here. But yeah, yeah, that's devastating. So sorry that you're going through that. Do they want you to provide proof of purchase? Yeah, we've been hearing that too with a few. Excuse me, I'm gonna jump off camera real quick. But yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, and the proof of purchase thing, we've seen that come up a little bit. We don't know exactly what context that would be. It's never happened to us yet, but for us, we're always anticipating that something's gonna be a surprise that doesn't go the way we planned it. So that it's kind of on our list of unexpected things. Hey, let's see here. Hi, Doug. Just finished and sitting down for something to eat. 9:15. Good to see you. Good to see you too, Paul. Good to have you on. I know it's going to be time for bed pretty soon, but thanks for stopping on for a quick minute. It's great to see you. And Pensacola Flipper, what kind of photo setup you rocking with? Video soon. Um, Photo setup you rocking with. So, are you talking about equipment? Because for the equipment, yeah, we can make a list and run through what we're actually using for all of these different devices and everything. I mean, it's about as cheap as we could possibly do it. As we always joke, and it was the comedian Dwayne Perkins. For somebody was looking for that the other day. They were looking for the comedian that said, "I'm not cheap, I'm broke." Ladies, there's a difference. And that was Dwayne Perkins that said that, I think. But yeah, so for our setup, we like to run as lean as we possibly can. So a lot of the equipment we got actually was from one of our reselling auction warehouses. So that was cool. Let's see here. And then, yeah, so aloha, great to see you there, Paul Rose. Yeah, Jed, it'll definitely be okay. It's just what is it going to take to be okay is the question. It's just will drive you crazy the waiting. Alrighty. Hey, great reseller life. Sitting in the bathtub, looking for sexy videos to watch and found this. Haha. Well, great reseller life. You may or may not see a cameo of some things in the background if you look hard enough. So hopefully the steam of the bath won't fog your eyeballs, and you'll be able to catch it at some point here in the live. But we just got ours today. We're so grateful to have them. Ro was really excited to see it. That was really cool. And she's like, "Oh, is this Vern?" Because she's heard about Vern, but she didn't really start watching the videos until very late. But she's like, "This is Vern," and so she's really happy to have a Vern sticker. So thanks for that too. That was a nice treat. So yeah, just going through our listing process again, you're gonna find inefficiencies. You're gonna find things that you'd prefer to do different, and great, share them with us. We're here to learn. Again, we're here to share our journey, not to be a guru. So if you see something that you recommend, then awesome. If not, hey, we're just happy you're here. And because it's so hot today, you're gonna see me sweating through my shirt. So that's a little bit extra transparency you don't get every single day, right? So, but yeah, it's really fun. Good to see you all on today. Yeah, we got 10 people watching. That's awesome for us. So then I'll get a picture right down the middle of the garment as well, especially for bottoms, just so that somebody can get a feel for what it would be like if they're looking for the material on the inside. So that's awesome. Great reseller life. I'm glad you can see Vern. Alrighty, so on to a top here. So this one in particular, you might be able to see. See if I get it close up here. It's very hard to see, but there's now I just look like I'm being extra nitpicky, but there's some defect and discoloration up here on the upper side of the top. But this is a really nice vintage top here, and then there's also something right on the front of the neck. There's a little dot that, again, while it wouldn't bother Ro and I, we're always extra cautious when it comes to like our clients or whatever they're going to see when we are shipping an item. All right, here. Oh man, actually, yeah. So great reseller life. So we were watching your latest video in silence. We're actually at a little coffee shop, and so we didn't want to be disruptive. But we saw the chat and we saw your reaction on screen, and it was getting us all choked up. It's really good. I mean, one of our favorite expressions is if somebody says that they're, really in your corner, but you have something good happen and they don't get as excited about it as you do, then they are an imposter who has infiltrated your camp. And so it was really kind of a neat thing to see so many people kind of just give you lots of love and support. And it definitely can be a very lonely venture that I don't know if I would do reselling if it was just me doing it and everything. And I mean, you probably have a lot of help, but we usually just see it being you on there. And so it's nice all that you've done to achieve the success that you have, and all that you've helped the community with and everything. That's really cool. It's worth that is worth getting excited over, and we certainly are on your behalf. So, and again, we're kind of new on the scene, so not like we got a super long backstory with you, but we have been watching you the past few years. So there's at least a little bit there that we've been excited to watch that progress. But and like we say too, and we submitted this on a chat the other day, that it's such a true expression of when somebody talks about somebody that's really achieved the goals that they've been aiming for, that they'll say about them, like, oh, that they're just an overnight success, or they're so lucky, or whatever. And one of my favorite expressions is they were a 6 to 10 year overnight success. And it's just so true that, like, if you really knew the backstory, there was years where no attention was paid, where you're just doing the grind but not getting much activity. And let's see, I gotta still do across the chest here. But so there's not that much activity. And then all of a sudden, one day it starts to get some traction, and you start to see the results that you've been really working towards all that time. So I feel like this is one of those monumental situations for you where all the hard work gives you a payoff that it sounds like was even more exciting than what you had initially expected. And that's really cool. And so we're happy for you that, we know that there's different preferences for who you watch in the community and all that kind of stuff. We're kind of like this little silent observer that just comes through, and we try to just pick the best we can from everybody. It's not that we're trying to gloss over things that are difficult in the community and everything. It's just for us personally, we've got a pretty low threshold for being able to handle stuff that's going wrong. And so, and not to say we can't handle it, but it's just, you absorb so much that each day that it hits us pretty quick. And so, and again, it's not like bury your head in the sand or any of that kind of stuff. It's just, you know what? We feel better when we're focusing on the positive, and that's what we aim to do. And so these kind of moments are really cool, that when we can go ahead and share them. Like, it's not like dumb stuff, like, it's not dumb stuff. This is what we really get excited about. And there's other things that people get excited about that we have really no interest in. So, it's just funny how that goes, that everybody's got their own personal preference for things. But let's see here. I want to hear more from Jet. So Jet says, I took items from my store that were old and not selling and listed them in my personal account. The item started selling immediately. It was great. And then boom, received the email. I mean, come on. Just let it ride, And then if it was a problematic thing, then they would see that coming through in the feedback after a while, right? So, but yeah, well, we're hoping you get a quick turnaround on that, Jet. I know it'll get resolved, but hopefully it just will go around quick. And then Pensacola Flipper, thank you so much for hitting the like and everything. That we've been saying that on a couple of the last videos. It's so weird. Maybe it's something that everybody that ventures out and tries to do these kinds of videos like starts to get used to. But for us, it's just weird. It's just weird for us, but we get it when other people do it. It's not a problem. It's just for us, we're like, hey, I mean, if somebody likes it, they'll just hit the like button, right? Who knows? Maybe that's not how it works, but. And so this is actually a brand that I'll show to the camera in just a minute. We've been trying to do more research on this one, but we can't find very much of it. There's a couple items that have sold of it in the past that we've been able to find, but still it's unclear what the brand is. It looks like Roman numerals I, and then F. Maybe you guys are all familiar with it, but we still come across brands all the time that hypothetically we should know, but that we just don't. So for this kind of stuff too, what we usually do that, again, there might be a better, more appropriate clothing way, but it's just what's good for our system, is because this is designed to be both rolled up and designed to be in its long sleeve format. We'll just go ahead and leave one sleeve rolled, one sleeve long, and then go ahead and so this is a what is it called, bodysuit, babe? I always forget the term. I always forget the term for these things. So I'm getting one long picture of that here. But again, with one sleeve up, one sleeve down. In the next picture, I'll just get both sleeves down. This helps too to make sure that when somebody's looking at it, that they see all the buttons are available. Let's see, Roro Major win. John Jones, yeah. I can't believe 13 people jumped in. This is so cool. It is now like 1,000 degrees in here, so you can definitely start seeing me sweat through this shirt in a jiffy, but that's okay. We're just real folks in here, right? So let me go ahead now. I'll get a picture. Let's see if I can get that tag. I think as resellers go, my nails are not too bad, but I still do the thing where I try to grab the tag in a way to where you only see the front of the finger as opposed to the top. So let's see here. Definitely as well. Picture across the front. As I just smack the lights with my ball cap. Twice. Smacking all kinds of stuff here. So yeah, and make sure the shoulders are set well here. One of my number one fears is that I'm going to put these pins in that we do to make sure that we get a clear shot and that one of them makes its way into like one of the garments. But one thing that's always nice is that we always keep a count. And we picked up these like special type little pins. So it keeps us well aware of what's going on with that. So make sure as long as we got all of our pins, we're good to go. All right, so now what I'm going to do, just highlight any unusual features of the garment as well. So we'll just highlight the fact that this has got like a little flap here. It doesn't do anything, but just present. And so let's see here. Sorry, Chad. Really digging the light setup. I had to put on my sunglasses. I know, I'm so sorry. It's probably crazy washed out, but that's hilarious. Do the sleeve length. Oh, right. I forgot the sleeve length. Thank you very much, Fraulein Donna. You're absolutely right. It's a little bit nerve-wracking. This is the first time we've ever done a Photoshop with live people looking over our shoulders, so I'm probably going to forget a step or two. I'll see it when we load the pictures, though. That always comes up if you miss a shot, and then you go to load the pictures, and you're like, "That's funny. I'm always used to counting like 14 for a different or for a specific type of garment," and then all of a sudden you go, "Well, you know what? I've got 13. Something's off here." So let me pin the shoulder, and then I'll grab the sleeve. One thing I'll do too is just get a 0-in shot of the neck. And the buttons. Especially if it's like a full button setup like we see for this garment. But yeah, let me show you this tag. Maybe somebody in the video either now or later will identify it, but we've seen a few like this. But we're having trouble really locking in on what the brand is. But we got multiple garments with that from a kind of 1960s actress's home just a couple months back. So we're going through these now. This is a nice piece that when we were initially bidding on it, we didn't have that many pictures of it, so we got a lot of excitement going for it at first. This is a St. John collection, kind of nice, beautiful blazer. The challenge, and it's got, I don't know if this is actual silver or what, but it's just got this really nice border on it, and of course the buttons on any St. John items are really beautiful. Again, Jet, put your sunglasses on there so you're not staring at that. But the buttons are really beautiful. The challenge is, though, once we got it, there's some significant defects. So there's some, as we'll often call it, bug wear. bugs chewed through some of the areas of the garment and everything. So yeah, it's like a job for Google Lens to figure out. Yeah, so we've done the Google Lens thing, and at least for the initial search, it didn't find what we're looking for, but we'll give it another shot. We know it's good. That's good advice for sure. Alrighty, here. Sorry, I know it's probably boring everybody, but we just figured again too, if you need a buddy in the background to work along with you this Saturday. Alrighty. Let's see here. And hanging up here, we're using fishing line for our setup, and then I'll go ahead and close that too. But yeah, except for the bug wear, it's a really nice garment. But
except for the bugs, you're gonna love this.
Yeah, except for the obvious damage that makes it look ugly, you're gonna love this. Just kidding. But here, and actually, it's funny. We'll often then sell a button or a garment like this for. We'll actually put in the comments that it's like, the value that we're pricing it at is actually for the buttons, and a lot of people like it for that. And then they'll do whatever they like with the actual garment itself, but they'll take the accents of the garment and then want to buy it for that. Oh, let's see. Yeah, so that's correct, Junk Trader. So this. So talking a little bit about the equipment setup just for a brief minute. So this is a metal shelving unit that we just didn't put the shelves in for. And then this right here is actually a giant foam board for construction. We went to, what's the name of the place? Something Fabrics. Ro just left the room. She'd remember. But we went to a fabric store and got just a very simple gray overlay. And that's been really nice, especially for the lighting where we're at. The gray contrast has worked out really well. And so behind here, we have some of our boxes stored for when we ship out hard goods. And then down at the bottom too, so we've got a light up here. We've got a light up screen at the bottom, and we've got LEDs that line the sides. And then also we've got a movable light here that allows us to, so especially for very long garments, we could put it down here and it lights up the lower part of a garment so that you don't have dark spots. That if you look back on a few photos we've done just even like about a year ago, and there's plenty of those in our store, you'll see some little dark spots like right in the middle. It's not too crazy bad, but there's a little bit there. And so we realized like it gave a misinterpretation of what the garment was actually intended to look like. So for us now, having that movable light was a really nice solution. So in most cases, we leave it in the same spot. Like keeping it off to the side just a little bit, like right here, tends to work very well. But if needed, though, we'll put it right in the center as we're taking pictures, again, for long garments. So let me go ahead and get going here. So Spam says, I see someone selling vintage. I have women's jacket, size small, by checkered 90s fashion for $197 on eBay. Wow. Same brand as the shirt. Interesting. Well, that's cool. We'll have to check that out. Let's see here. So, all right, get my meter stick here. We actually need to get a new meter stick as well. That it's funny, we're using it so much that certain numbers, especially like the 21 and the 22, they're actually wearing off. And so the whole point of it's missing, as I drop that across all the shelving. So some of it's actually missing with some of those numbers. Anyways, all right. Oh, let's see here. So we'll do this. Front picture, so I'll tag up I hope everybody's having a really nice Saturday today. Oh, so I smacked my face on the lights. All right, so and already here, one thing I'm seeing too, there's another discoloration on the arm that I'll get a picture of. So here, I'll make sure I capture that now. Biff Buffo, watching an online auction. Can't talk. Hey, no problem, Biff. We're just happy to see you. Hope everything's going well on your side. I love it as I'm getting to know all of your names and everything. That hearing what legends you guys all are for the reseller community. I think Bearded Picker mentioned you the other day, Biff Buffo, of you taking everybody's lunch that's coming in that doesn't know what they're doing or is just kind of being ridiculous with what their expectations are or what they're doing. And so that's really cool. I like the fact that you got that kind of reputation. My meter stick keeps falling over. Whoop, I'm just knocking all kinds of stuff over. I had to rearrange our setup a little bit just so that we could get some pictures. But I'll be right back. Silver hair. Hey, what's going on, Silver hair? How you doing, man? All right, I'm gonna quit putting that down. I'll be right back. I'm actually gonna switch out of this shirt. It's too light. I don't want you guys to see me sweating through this that bad. So I'll be right back with you. I'll be 2 seconds. Enjoy the dead air. Alrighty. There you go. That's much better. Now I can not worry about sweating through that shirt. But hey, Silver hair, great to see you, man. So this is kind of a last minute live. I'm just going through, and we haven't shown our photo setup yet. But we figured, so we're doing some listings anyways. We figured somebody might need a listing buddy. So we're just getting it rolling right now. Happy to have you with us. Hopefully you're having a good Saturday. Alrighty, let's see here. So right now I'm working on a St. John jacket, kind of a little blazer. And so, yeah, for this, we've got a few customers that'll buy St. John from us, even with this worn condition. And they've told us straight up, hey, I'm not interested in the garment. Right? You can even rip the buttons off and just send me those, and I'm good with it. And so, yeah, this will probably be something with all the holes in it from the bugs. This will probably be something that somebody wants for the value of the accents. So, and that's totally cool. We have such a frequent amount of clothing coming in right now and everything that it gives us some flexibility on being able to work with individuals that have an interest in some of these garments. Alrighty, so yeah, it's been nice. Well, we got 14 people in here just watching me sweat it out. So this is actually I like this piece we got. So this individual, we don't know exactly what the story is, but they must have had some kind of connection. Hey, we got 6x6 too. Hey, good to see a 6x6. But we don't know that much about this individual, but they must have some kind of connection to Warner Brothers. We had so much vintage Warner Brothers stuff that, I mean, either they were a super fan or they must have had somebody that had some kind of connection in the industry up there, because, I mean, I've never seen this level of commitment to Looney Tunes like we saw from this house. But it was really cool. But we ended up with some of the old vintage WB watches and that kind of thing. And then they had a few of these kinds of old vintage shirts from Looney Tunes. So this is Bugs Bunny, kind of a fun one, but that's cool. So yeah, but great to see you 6x6. Good to have you in there, man. I loved our conversation about the old nerd games and stuff. That was fun. So let's see here. Silverhair Stacker, I did a repair on a 1936 typewriter today, and it works perfectly. $6 turned into 200 item with an hour of work. Man, that's awesome. We're all about that kind of stuff. You're clearly a lot handier than we are when it comes to mechanical stuff. I used to work on machines and everything, but I don't think I'd have any capability of fixing a 1936 typewriter. We're good for you, man. Alrighty. So yeah, but it's been cool. Alrighty. Hey, well, say hi back to Miss Merritt. All right, that's awesome. That's so cool, 6x6. That's really nice, man. Yeah, I mean, hey, we thought y'all were gonna be too busy for anything on a Saturday, but this is really cool. So yeah, so for all those that are just arriving though, we figured it'd be kind of nice to just show a setup for how our listings are taken for the clothing items. And then too, in just a minute, I'm going to be getting a few of the model kits that we just picked up. So over here, you'll see we got our light box. So that's where we do all of our toy level stuff. So let's see here. Oh, awesome. Silver hair, that's totally rocking. You just looked up some YouTube videos. My wife is much better about doing that than I am. In fact, a lot of the best tips that we've applied here, I totally give credit to Ro, that she looked up the information and then just got to work doing it. All right, you know, I almost forgot the length of the garment too, so let me get that here. But yeah, it's weird having somebody watch you as you're working away on stuff, but I mean, it's kind of cool in a way too that it's breaking out of our comfort zone, and that's always cool when you're trying something new. But yeah, Miss Merit Horn, that's really cool. Good job, Spam. Thanks for covering the air horn for that. But yeah, we're so glad that she's saying hi there. But yeah, well, good job, Silver Hair, getting that YouTube video going. That's totally rocking. Alrighty. Again, too, if you have any suggestions or tips, we're not stubborn. We're just doing the best we can with whatever we got. So if you got advice, please, as much as you feel comfortable, share that advice. We're just here to learn, here to work, and here to learn. Alrighty. This is weird too. I'm not used to looking over my shoulder and then going back and doing the listing stuff, but usually we're a little bit quicker than this. Not very much, but a little bit quicker. But it's nice to, because you know, one thing Ro and I were talking about too is that we've shown so many videos now where we talk about us doing work. It's like, it'll show that we do work is doing work. You know, that's the best way. That's the best way if you want somebody to see that you're actually working. How about you just do some work? So that's what we're doing right now. And what we'll often try to do, just because we have such a crazy busy schedule in general, we will try to, on Saturday afternoons, we'll try to pack in as much as we can of photos and listing. And then we spread all that goodness out throughout the rest of the week. And then still during some of the evening times, then I'll still try to sneak in a few listings as well. But if we get it done on Saturday, then it takes a lot of the pressure off for the rest of the week. And so we get the listings scheduled, then we won't feel as much pressure that we have to get more done. I mean, strangely enough, when we don't feel the pressure that we got to get more done, we get more done. And some people are pressure people. For us, we do our best when we're relaxed. So for us, we pitch in a little bit of hard work on one day, and then it makes it easier for us to know we can get stuff done. Or if we need to, we take a minute. We can catch a breather, and we don't feel like we're stuck up against the wall. So this is a cool shirt. This is a cinch. I think that's how you say it. CINCH garment, and it's Western wear. And this thing is really. We've had so much interest as we've posted these now. This is one I've delayed on because it's got some sweat stains on the neck that we have consistently not been able to get out. And because it's not a pure white garment, we can't exactly just bleach it. So we're still working on it. We might give it another shot. But sometimes too, it's just in there. You know, there might be a more advanced way, but at what point does it not become worth it anymore to continue trying to work on the garment? So we always try to balance to the work to payback, or payout. And so some of the items we know we can still work on, we can still clean, but we just don't worry about it because the amount of money is just not there for the amount of labor. So again, some of these pictures going here. I don't usually speak while listening. In fact, I usually listen while listening, just watching all of you guys and your conversations. And man, like the show the other day with Todd and Scott and all those guys, that was so much fun to just have on in the background. And then I was so tired yesterday, man. I knocked out early. Like by 3:00, I was just in bed sleeping, and it wasn't that unusual a week, but just all things kind of just came together at once, and I was just wiped out. So I just knocked out. Let's see here. So, you sell a lot of pearl snap shirts. Yeah, we came across an old cowboy's house that he ran a chain of grocery stores. And so when we went to his estate sale and everything, he had tons, but so they were cowboys though, so they had a ton of Western wear and all kinds of stuff. So we got a bunch of like the Texas ties and all of that. So that was really fun. And so get the emblems here. And so yeah, we listed a lot of them that don't have a lot of sweat stains or a lot of issues. And we just have a batch now that's left over where there's clear defects, like where you've got sweat stains we can't get out and all that. And that's about where we're at right now with what we're gathering up in a listing of these. I don't know if I got the shoulder yet, so I'll get the shoulder again. Now gather up the sleeve, and then I'll do the chest and collar. And sometimes I do these out of order, like you've seen me right now. I'm doing the, let me get that picture. Boop, my belly pop out. Sometimes too, you get the listings out of order where I try to do across the shoulders before I do the sleeve, but I'm doing it out of order right now. We're not that fussy about it. So if somebody's really concerned, then they'll go ahead and do that. So let's see here. So either, yeah, bow ties are a bolo. So so I'm kind of curious what you mean there, Silver Hair. So you're saying that those Texas ties are bolo? Rose laughing in the background. So the Texas ties are a bolo?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Rose in the background is like, yes, that's what he's saying. Like, okay. All right, here. But Paul Rose, nah, what's up, Doug? Oh, what's up, Doug? That is awesome. That Looney Tunes stuff should do well. Hopefully, it's funny. We've tried some Looney Tunes stuff in the past, and it was a little bit sluggish, and we thought we were pretty low on the price, but that was way back when we were still learning comps and everything, so we were probably way off. But yeah, we're excited to relist it. In fact, part of what I've got in my batch right now, I shared it the other day, but let me grab it for you real quick. Another thing that we're going to be listing is from the same house actually that we got the Looney Tunes shirt. We got several of these Looney Tunes vintage watches, and I think some of you are new, haven't seen it yet. But so we got these Looney Tunes vintage watches that we need to be listing, but we've been hesitating because all of them need new batteries, and we're not exactly watch people, so we don't know if we should take them in to get the battery replaced, try to replace the battery ourselves, or just sell without the battery, and what kind of issue that might have. So we're still learning that. So if you have any suggestions, please throw them in the chat because we're all for them. All right, I'll get these guys going here. Again, we're usually a little bit quicker. When I get kind of nose to the grindstone with this, I try to hustle through, but this is just a nice example, kind of a little bit more slow motion. You guys can actually see what we do here. But let's see here. Oh, they're called bolo ties. So bolo ties are bolo. That's funny. You get them with sterling silver, bam, big money. That's actually a good reminder too to look out for silver accents and stuff. Unless we see it separate, we often will overlook it. So I'm sure there's a bolo opportunity somewhere in our store with that where there's silver that we missed. But yeah, we appreciate the heads up on that. Alrighty here. Let's see here. And so, Patricia, are you talking to me or are you talking to Jet for how many listings did you move and how fast? Let's see. I guess we'll figure that out. Let's see here. Cowboy ties are called bow ties. Got that one. Nobody in a fighting mood. I don't know. There must be a side conversation going on that I missed or something. But Papa, I feel like I'm winning. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I probably missed something, but that's okay. We'll figure it out in the chatter here. Oh, got some nice Nordstrom. Okay, cool. Asking Biff. So that helps. You can probably see from our store like how things are moving. It's been slow over the past few weeks, but we're getting really good momentum right as we're getting into this year. But we don't mind. We don't mind when the momentum gets slow. We actually just use that as an opportunity to regroup on our process right now. But I mean, in the future, we are absolutely open to the idea of it being a full-time endeavor at some point in the future. But in the meantime, if we have downtime, it doesn't kill us. We actually just then use that as an opportunity to take a step back and say, okay, now we have some breathing room. What is working? Where do we have an opportunity for improvement? What can be more efficient? What can we save money on? What'll save us money by spending money? And all those kind of good questions. So we like asking questions because then in many cases we get some answers that really help us out, and especially from all of you. It's been awesome. So this is a nice Nordstrom shirt. It's a bit vintage, probably about 20 years old. Although this has got me kind of questioning there, but yeah, Nordstrom shirts do really good for us too. These are really nice. This is actually a really nice. It's a 16.5 neck, 35 sleeve there. So that's actually a really nice one. But I like those Nordstrom shirts. Yeah, especially get your sunglasses on, folks. It's going to really bounce that light right towards you. But let's see here. Actually, have I got the front-facing one yet? Let me see. No, I haven't. So I should pop these out first here. So it's funny. I've heard Scott mention too on a couple of his videos that he's an introvert, and I think he might fit the category of me as kind of just an introvert by nature. But then just from just putting yourself out there and starting to interact with people, that you become like a chatty introvert. And so for me, it's just nerves. I get chatty, but it's not that I like to talk or anything, and I love people, but I just get so nervous around people. It's just how I'm built. But at some point in life too, you figure out that most of what you want to do involves interacting with people. Oh, as I smack myself in the face with the light. So you kind of just either you get over it or you stay under it, right? So alrighty, let's take a look here. I know I'm not usually this clumsy, but I think it's just because I got eyes on me right now. So let's go ahead here. Do it across the chest here. Boom. Boom and boom. Do it across the shoulders. Time to tackle the sleeves. And again, if you happen to be just jumping in, all tips are welcome there for any recommendations that you have. Let's see here. I'm gonna get a close up of that measurement. I'm so far out. And Rose also just off camera here. She's
working away too, but on a different project.
That's right. Rose on a totally different project that we're trying to make sure that we replace our washing machine well.
Boy.
Let me get a picture of the sleeve too. I think I've probably forgotten to get the sleeve on a couple of the last items that we're doing.
Following Donna's gonna kick your butt.
I know. She's gonna come and remind me that I'm missing it. Alrighty. So let's see here. Did I miss anything else? No bidding wars. So no bidding wars on your stuff right now, Bev. And then Paul Rose, 2 small sales today and a few insulting lowballs. Yeah, we got hit with a bunch of lowballs that we're already like.
We took a few of them though.
Yeah, we did take a few of the lowball offers, but it is kind of funny too that it kind of weirded me out the other day that we had somebody that, I mean, good weird to be, because they're probably listening right now. But it was so funny that somebody bought something the other day from our store, and they were like, "Hey, by the way, good luck on the videos." And it was like, okay, that's weird. So it's already. I know exactly. It's like, okay, well, that's new. That was definitely bizarre. And sorry too if I'm yelling at the microphone. Let me know if the audio is coming through okay or if it's too loud. We're still tinkering with the whole setup and giving it a try. So if I don't want to blast anybody's eardrums or anything, and I'm really close to where the microphone is. We do like some of the ASMR stuff where we just do like the thing on the microphone. People like, don't do that. That's weird. All right. So let's see here. So yeah, Paul Rose said 2 small sales a day and a few insulting low balls. So again, on that note, yeah, we definitely got a few low balls today. Most of the offers we got today were actually okay. Like, for example, we sold a Columbia shirt that we had listed for 15, sent offers at like 12, and somebody countered with 9. And we're like, yeah, 9's good. I mean, for the garment, it's actually a $15 to $20 garment, easy for the quality and what it is. But, we're reselling. So if it's good and it puts us in the green, then we'll go for it. All right, let's see here. Spam Banshee. I'm very awkward around people. When Primo had an actual store, somebody commented on Primo's business Facebook page that I was weird. I like weird. Yeah, I was actually like, I was talking to a young up and coming guy the other day that he was kind of expressing that he was awkward around people, and it's like, you know what? We spend so much time in our teenage years just worrying about what everybody's going to think or whatever, and like. That you want to try to be cool. And then at the end of the day, the people we really think are cool are the ones that are just themselves and then totally own it, where they're just the reality of what they are. I mean, that doesn't mean to say that it's not good for a person to change or commit to a good lifestyle or that kind of thing. But when it comes to like the quirks of you being you, let it be quirky. It's fun to it's fun to be the oddball sometimes. Let's see here. Yeah. Also, Biff Buffalo Primo wants to know what and where you're bidding so he can compete. That is absolutely hilarious. I know. Was it you, Biff Buffalo? That's kind of it's the mystery on what your store is and where you sell. That I forget who it was, but somebody the other day was trying to
I think so. I think they were talking about Biff.
was talking about Biff Buffalo.
Mhm.
It's the legend and the mystery. That was one of the number one things we were like worried about as we first got started is the fact that people will see us on here working and doing the listings and everything. But again, too, it's like, you know what, we're just us. So we'll do our best and be reasonable. Let's see, I'm missing else. Spam, you're adorable. Why in the world would you be awkward? Yeah, Spam, you're not awkward. If your personality is half of what we see when you're in front of the camera with Primo Chemo, I think the other person's probably who was weird. They're the ones with the problem. And it's funny, it's like that's often the case too. It's like the ones that give you the hardest time is like they're probably the ones that just need some encouragement to just be themselves too. Alrighty. So get this garment, another one on the list. See, already I'm feeling good. We've got a whole handful of items that I was feeling very unmotivated today because I'm just really tired. Just the reality of what it is. And I'm just like, what will help me be accountable is just getting on here. If there's anybody else that pops in and wants to work along with me, or just again, maybe you need a break and you're watching me work. Well, I mean, hey, then as a group, we're productive, right? So, and especially I get you guys to invest in some better sunglasses because of all the lens flare, which we'll work on for future videos. And what's funny too, this light, it looks like this light is like pointed right at the camera and it's actually pointed totally away. It's just that bright of a light that it's just, you can just see how it's really ultra bright, but we didn't design it for the spotlight here for the camera. We designed it for taking pictures. So here's a nice set. These are platinum Chicos, but we just love regular pants, but that are in like a cool color. So these in real life, they're this awesome like matcha green. And so those are really fun. Chicos, we get a lot of interest in Chicos just like across the board. So, and then I've got a little hanger set up over here. I'm not going to show it in this video, but I might show it later. Makes it very nice for us to just quickly switch between different hanger types. Makes it really convenient. One thing we're going to be doing later too is we still have bags and bags and bags and bags of clothing that we're going to be sorting through. That might be an interesting video at some point. Probably not right now because our setup is efficient for us, but it might not be efficient for you to be able to see it and enjoy it and everything. But if we can get that set up nice, we'll get a video of it so you guys can see it as we do all of our sorting for what's ready to list, what needs to be cleaned, and what needs to go. That we do our very best to throw nothing away. I mean, we throw stuff away. There's stuff that is just it's at the end of its life. That's it. But if at all possible, we try to get it to some place where, excuse me, got the burps, where it'll be beneficial to some community. And so there's some communities in need that they'll get a lot of clothing items that just can't be sold. And let's see, that's a big stain. See that discoloration. This piece actually might make its way down to the donations there, but we also don't really give to Goodwill. We like to give it right directly to the community that has a need. So let's see. I'm gonna set this one aside and look at it. Can't really see on here, but there's a huge. It's almost like a bleach stain. I missed it on the first pass. Sometimes only when we get in the light will we actually see that it's got a major defect. I don't even know if it'll major defect. We did it all the time when we incorporate major. Let's see, can you see it here? It's kind of coming through in the camera, but so right here, there's a bit of a bleach stain. So didn't catch that on the initial run, and it's not inherent to this garment that it's supposed to look like that. So that one's gonna be set aside for review, but it's probably gonna make its way to a donation. So I'll delete those pictures really quick. Alrighty, let's take a look here. So next round. One thing that's kind of cool. Now we got a couple items listed in our store. We purchased directly from Gary Beers from the old band in the '90s, In Excess, and that was really cool and interesting. But we ended up with a lot of his stuff. He's the bass player. We ended up with a lot of stuff that wasn't really bass related, and then that was early on in our selling stuff, and so it's really hard to prove the provenance of all that, and so we're kind of like doing further research about how we can really get that locked in. But yeah, it's just kind of funny though. So we got like a bunch of Gary Beers, like actual stage worn like pants and a couple
Donna
tops.
made a good suggestion on the
What's
pants.
that?
Try holding the camera higher. I think she means lower, so they don't look so squat. That is a good idea.
Yeah, no, I know that's always a thing. I know that psychologically, it's just when you're in the moment, you're trying to do it and everything. Yeah, so that is something that is a problem that I tend to do is from my height, and I'm almost like 6'3". From my height, I will sometimes get a bad angle, and then the pants look squatty. Oh, let's see. Well, thanks, Silver Hair. That was a really nice thing to say. He just Silver Hair Stacker said, and Doug, when I was your age, all I did was all you did was your teaching career and raised 2 boys. I think that you were winning a life compared to where I'm at doing that. Yeah, no, that's yeah, that sounds like a humble brag, Silver Hair. Like that's like you give me a compliment, but really, the fact that you're a teacher. So for my primary job, actually, my regular full-time job, I work in the education department, um, and so that's really like I value education very highly, and it's definitely a hard job. It's there's always that joke of like if you can't teach, but it's like, well, has anyone ever tried teaching? Because holding someone's attention and keeping their focus is definitely a challenge, and it's weird in different contexts. Like I feel way at home with my regular job and teaching and everything, and yet going on here and sharing the tips of what we do, it feels like a totally different animal. So, and then you were dealing with, I'm sure, in your teaching job, all kinds of people, and maybe too, especially if it's kids, you're dealing with people in development that have not even reached their full grown self, and that is always a fascination. Like that's incredible. I don't know if you can even hear me as I'm turning away, but I need to get one of those like microphones that just attaches to me so that I don't turn away from the microphone. But here's the thing, guys. We're 3 weeks in, so
we had a message. Audio is perfect.
Oh, that's actually really encouraging to hear. That's nice. Okay, so these are some Wranglers we also got from the Cowboy household that own the chain of grocery stores. Really nice folks too. They're good folks over there. So, and then after that, I got there's a very sparkly belt on these. You might even see when I put it under here. Not quite. But these are some vintage ink jeans, and they got this crazy sparkly bedazzled belt, or rhinestone, I guess is what it is. These are so sparkly though. These are designed to look like diamonds. I'll put it up here. They're so sparkly in real life. I'll try not to blind you. So sparkly in real life though. It looks like they're actually real diamonds on here. It's really pretty. They're not, but it looks like they are. So let's see here. Right, an hour. Let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, actually, I just grabbed the microphone, the top. I'm sure everyone just got like across the top because I just grabbed the like accidental ASMR. Oh, let's see here. But Bip Bop Polite Bitter is nice. And you can do the regular resell. That's funny, Paul. Silver Stacker, all right. But so Spam Bench, I agree with Silver Hair, and now you've added YouTube 6 videos a week. Well, it's just been a real joy actually doing all this stuff that like we expected so much of it to be negative right out of the gate that it's actually made it that much more positive. Again, we know the negative stuff's going to come. It's reality right now, but hopefully if everybody just sees us and knows the fact that we're not trying to beat anybody, we're not trying to go in there and say like, well, what you got to do is, it's just we're with you. We're on the same road. Most people that are watching these videos is, and we're trying to be a little bit better. We want you to be better. And if you end up winning more than we win, we're all celebrating together. We're not.
Silver Hair can hear me.
Woohoo! Yeah, that's so funny, bro.
Okay, one of the things I love is the train from Disney World.
Oh, the Casey Jr. train.
Woohoo!
So, she does that so good. The woohoo.
It makes me so happy.
All right, so these jeans. Okay, Donna, I'll try to get a better angle.
I think I can. Woo! I knew I could. I knew I could. I knew I could.
That's so funny. That's really funny. All right, let's see here. So yeah, Rose in the background today. That is nice. So very, he's awful nice to you. All right. Let's see. Just don't want you to get burned out. Yeah. Well, oh well, perky. That's funny. So yeah, spam magic. And that's something we're very cognizant of. That I'm definitely the kind that would become dangerously close to burnout in many cases. And so for us, we're really determined now. Like again, if you look at our process, it's not the most efficient ever, but we realize that if we get instruction from others, that's the most efficient ever, but it's not our personal enjoyment of doing things, then that will burn us out. But if we enjoy the process and if it's something that we kind of put together that's a nice fit, then it really feels a lot more doable. But I mean, who knows? Again, we're talking several weeks in here. You could totally see us in 6 months, be like, you know what, that was a huge mistake. We're not cut out for this or whatever. So I'm not saying no, but just we're just trying to be balanced and then go for what we love about the process. And then if that joy starts to go away, ask why and see if there's a way we could bring the joy back. Or if not, we then say, okay, well, you know what? If it's not something that just needs to be fixed or replaced, then maybe we just go ahead and we try something different.
All right, we're getting some good comments.
I know. I'm like, I don't want to go too deep. I got to get back to doing my.
Yeah, Doug sucks more than Ralph. More truth has never been spoken.
Oh, thanks for that,
Savannah. She doing cartwheels and kissy faces. Thanks, Spam.
I know.
But Paul Rose's comment is really good. You're smart, Doug. Sounds like you're looking after yourselves too. That is the trick. I push too far sometimes. It's counterproductive in the end. Being a one-man band, there's no partner to stop me. That is true. We do balance each other out sometimes. Sometimes we have to actually slap each other to get some rest, but
yeah, well, and so Paul Rose, that's so true that if left to my own devices, for sure, without Rose presence, I am the guy that will just whatever you need done, I'll be there and I'll do it. The challenge with that then is that there's only 100% of what you can commit to anything. You don't have 120%. You don't have 140%, and so definitely for me too, it's like, okay, of my 100%. Where are each of my different groups of percentages going? And I'm trying to be better about that. Again, I'm not on here to say, and that's what I do, and I've got it all locked in. I'm just here to say, you know what? Try to be more conscientious of that. Seems to be working a little bit better than it used to. Try to keep that going. Yeah, can't emphasize enough. We're not here to be a guru. We're just here to say, you know what? We're in it, probably together. If we all keep doing our thing and doing the best we can, we'll probably get there. How's that for a motivational speech? Somebody just exited. They're like, all right, I'm over this stuff. All right, let's take a look here. All right, I'm gonna get off camera a little bit here because I gotta get the hem right. About 34. Am I still on the thing? All right. Okay, so I think it's actually, it's going to tell me on the tag that it's 35, but it's realistically sitting at a 34 right now, so I'll just make note of that. Oh, one of the hardest things for us is with jeans when the wash has shrunk it, but the tag says something different. That's where we have so many miscommunications with those that are purchasing, where they're like, well, you said in the thing there was 34, but I did my own separate measurement, it's 35, and it's just, we do the best we can, but we try to measure it too at a natural fit for whatever the garment's at right now. And again, going back, hashtag guru alert. It's like, well, we try to measure for, but no, we try to measure for whatever the garment's at right now, and then put that measurement in there, but then also acknowledge what the tag used to say, so somebody can make their choice on either. And we had people that get it and they stretch the garments back out. They're like, no, I know how to handle this. And it's like, okay, well, we know that most people don't handle things that way, but there are some that know what's up. All right, so almost getting off screen here. Boop. All right, I have to edit that picture down a little bit. It's got a little bit out of the frame. But let me see. Am I missing anything else here? Thanks for keeping track of the chat, babe. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Gotcha. You know what you're doing. Love you guys. Well, thank you, Spam. We sure love and appreciate you and Primo as well. That again, we don't think we know what we're doing, but we're on a track that right now feels good for our mental health. But that happens too, where you get going on something and you're like, this is good for me. And then you take a step back, you evaluate and you go, actually, no, it's still exhausting me or whatever. And there's some good things worth doing that, it's worth doing even tired. So do it tired. There's some things in Ro and I's life for sure that it is tiring. It is a lot of work, but it's absolutely worth the endeavor. So it's just, what's the expression of know your why, that kind of thing. So doesn't know your why, and it makes the process a lot better, at least for us. Okay, so for these two, just in case anybody's wondering, as I'm going through now, I love to get a picture of the button up close because we're really particular about trying to make sure that everything that we've got is legitimate and everything. And so in many cases too, I'll even zero in right on the zipper, show like the YKK thing. And in this case, these are Wranglers, so I'm looking for the little boot that's right on the front of the zipper. Alrighty, man, you guys are doing so good for sticking with me. I know it's well over an hour now, but it's nice. I mean, just having you guys here is actually helping keep up my momentum, because otherwise I'm one tired guy today. So it's really helping me out to have a little bit of support. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna get a picture as well. There's a spot on these jeans where the knee is distressed, so I'm gonna do a zoomed in picture of that.
If I were to give a little bit of feedback, I'd move that foot pad so that you're actually stepping on it. It's a fatigue mat. So.
Yeah, so my wife just made a good point. We've got an anti-fatigue mat that sits right in front of our photo station, and it has slid way back, so I'm actually just walking on the solid ground right now. So I'm going to move the stress pad back a little bit here. And again, can't emphasize enough anything that I'm sharing. This is just what's working out for Ro and I right now. Checking on our process 6 months down the road will probably continue to change. It's just how we operate. Always love working on stuff. Is there a baby diagram in the future? Well, considering the fact that we're pretty much both sitting right at our 40s, I think the answer to that question is probably going to be no. So yeah, for us, we're just at the point in our life where we're kind of not thinking baby terms, but we
adopt at some point, but actually having our own, probably not.
Yeah, we actually have talked about that a lot, though, that we like the idea of adopting. We don't have anything that we're aware of that would prevent us from having children. And
we're getting old.
yeah, except for the fact that there's only so much shelf life right now for everything. But yeah, so there's nothing particularly stopped us. We have lots of nieces and nephews that we just adore. And so, that's kind of our world right now, that we both too, we got married a little bit later in life, and we both wanted to wait, and we enjoyed that. And so, and for right now, we've just been loving the adventure for just Ro and I. So, I mean,
we're cool either way.
And the way things go, if anything ever happens to Ro, I'm gone in like 3 days anyways. So it's like, I'm over real quick. All right, so babe, I'm seeing some stains right here that we'll need to dress in these guys. So I'll hit it with the stain wash, and then
just throw them to the side right now.
So I'm saying, well, here, I got the stain thing.
No.
What?
We need an active washer.
Oh, that's true. All right, Ro's making a good point, as she always does. Yeah, so we're getting our washer replaced. The washer finally just died the other day. So you just heard that minor adjustment I just got. She's like, by the way, if you get the cleaning process started, it's going to be sitting and marinating with the chemical in it until we can properly wash it. Yeah. So, let's see here. Let's see. So Subreddit Stacker, that must be nice. More power to you. How it should be. That's awesome.
You're not a nosy old fart. We're absolutely fine with questions like that.
Yeah. So one thing you'll know about us after getting to know us and everything, we're not the kind that, like, as you ask us questions, that we have a freak out or anything. It's just like, cool, if you're curious. I mean, we might not share everything, but we're never averse to any question.
Paul Rose said, Doug and Ro, I'm 53. Trust me, after 50, you start feeling it. But a close friend of mine just had a son in late 40s. It's not too late yet, but that's a long shot if you change your minds. Yeah, so we just met a friend. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but we met a person. Anyways, really
quick. JL Stanton, 1968 is here, and I think this is his first visit. Jack, it's true, they will let anybody have a channel nowadays. Honestly, it's super cool that you're here, especially too, because I think you're one of the most open and vocal about things that you like and don't like and all that stuff. And so you even stopping by is actually that is our gold star for the day. That is our major win for the day. Jack stopping by Jailstat 1968. So welcome. We're happy to see you and thanks for being here. That's really cool.
Mhm.
And Mike Seller, hey, yep. So totally surprise live. For anybody that's popping in, we've already had some people filter in and filter out. But what I'm doing today, I had to do some listings anyways, but I was really tired. I was like, you know what? If I just fire this up and people can see my process, even if it's in slow motion, we haven't shown you guys the fact that we actually do work and we get in here as well. So it was just a nice opportunity to get me a little bit extra motivation, and also too that we wanted to be transparent with you guys, that you see us actually doing the work that we're starting to talk about. Because so far we've sat in front of the camera and we're like, hey, yeah, we deal in clothing, we do stuff and everything. We want you guys to see us at work. So this was a nice opportunity. So it wasn't planned, but we were like, you know, let's get it fired up. There's probably somebody that's working on a Saturday that needs a little bit of extra just support and everything. And one thing I did too is I went and I checked to make sure that there was no lives that I was familiar with of other resellers. So I was like, you know what? If there's nothing else live, let's be live. Let somebody come in and get a little extra support if they need help, just need some background noise to keep things moving. To us, there's such a big difference of catching it live versus when you go back and you rewatch the recordings. It's still nice. We still love doing the recordings, but we definitely like the in-person live stuff. So but blah blah lol. That's really funny. And then Swamp Picker. Hey, Swamp Picker's here. Hey, good to see you too. It's really, really nice to have you with us. Thanks for stopping in. But let's see here. So really, so Jack, you're buying clothing now. And so Stoic Reseller that Jack's mentioning, I think pretty much everybody here is familiar. But Rose Mom is also present right now in the chat somewhere, but mysteriously working. But so for anybody not familiar, that's really cool. So Stoic Reseller, he's ahead of us in the amount of clothing and everything that he sells. And so we look to him for a lot of tips and insights as well. For example, in a recent video, we mentioned the fact that we sell a lot in St. John. And so vintage St. John stuff. And Stoic Reseller highlighted some tips about some difficulties he's had with it, some ways to identify the fabric type and everything. And so he provides us a lot of great tips as well. Let's see here. So Ro, you replied to Jack. That's great. And then Spam Banshee. Does that mean I'm a stink? Oh, so Paul Rose said this, Spam Banshee. Single income, no kids. Yeah. So that's really funny. Well, yeah, I wonder what the T would be in stink then. You're a sink. I guess this year's Paul. Single income, no kids. You're a sink. But I'm saying that that's probably a word for something else gross and weird too. I'm gonna be that guy that like innocently will just be like, oh, this terminology, and then somebody will be like, you know, that's something like really weird, right? So Biff Boffo really Jack clothing pivot. Yeah, and so clothing has held pretty strong for us right now. We know it's highly competitive market and everything, but because we don't have a crazy need for it to turn over lightning fast, it's been a nice steady flow for us. So, and just to again talk about our numbers a little bit. So we're still pretty small potatoes in the grand scheme of things, but we did grow 25% from the year before to last year, and so that was really encouraging. Our tax professional that we work with, and even he's been so supportive and everything. He'll jump in here because he wanted us to get a little YouTube thing going, but he gave us a heads up this last year that he's like, hey, you know, you might not feel it because we have to reinvest pretty much everything back into the business side. But he goes, I'm looking at your numbers. You've grown 25% this last year. So he goes, it's going the right direction. So, you know, don't feel like it's not working if that's the feeling you have, which we didn't. But we were looking at it going like, we need to ask the right questions, make sure it's really making financial sense. And so he gave us some encouragement that he goes, yeah, it's grown 25%. And that's part-time for us. So that felt really good. Let's see if I get this up here. That felt really good that he gave us that kind of affirmation that we're doing okay. So these are some Chico's pull-on pants, by the way. I don't know if everybody wants me to start showing the tag and what's actually going on. But let's see here. So let me take a look. So Jail Stanton, Biff Buffalo, I'm staying in my lane. I have graded cards, comics, coins, books, etc. and know how to grade clothing, but I also know shirts, athletic wear, etc. I'm starting with what I know. So, Jack, that's actually really cool, and we're kind of curious about that because we actually come across a ton of ungraded cards. We come across comics, we come across coins and books all the time, and so it's interesting. We'll be looking to you for some insights and knowledge about that stuff. That we definitely have a lot to learn in that department, but we've got tons and tons and tons of baseball cards, very few graded. But we have a lot where people have an interest, but we're trying to get used to that market because it seems to flip flop all the time, especially to a player leaves his former team, goes to another team, he retires. He's a legend, but the scandal comes out and all kinds of stuff. That's a little bit hot and cold for what we like for the pattern of our work. We like the fact that clothing is clothing. Somebody likes this brand, they don't like the brand, and you still will run into some issues with that. That at least for us, that we felt like just a few months back there was a major organization that kind of went into some hot water for some weird marketing campaigns and everything. And so that is weird that you'll see a whole brand like start to go cold for people's interest. But in general, the whole variety of different brands of clothing that we work with has helped clothing stay consistent without it being too much of a disruption. Like without it being the same kind of drama that we run into when like a player switches his your baseball team he's playing with or whatever. And so we just like consistency, and that was a difficult market for us to keep track of because we had to keep track of the stats all the time, and it's difficult while we're listing other items. So, and there's definitely a lot of eBayers out there that do both, and it's incredible that they do. It's just for us at our level right now, switching gears that much was just tiring. So we just decided to simplify a little bit and make it a little bit easier. Let's see here. So Jack also asked us, was the growth over several platforms or just eBay? So actually, up until this year, we only were focusing primarily on uh, eBay in particular. I mean, a little bit separately, but this wasn't included in the numbers that our tax professional was helping us with. But a little bit was side with local sales. But other than that, it was solely eBay was the only platform that we were really focusing on. So that 25% growth was represented with eBay alone. This year now, and we're not promoted by anybody. So if I mention our cross-listing program, it's there's no endorsement or anything here, but we use Vendu, and so that's been really nice. In fact, I'm reminded right now that our Vendu for the month will refresh tomorrow. So we got a whole batch of cross listings. Yeah, so we got a whole bunch of cross listings we got to do this evening. So I might fire up another live later as I'm going through and I'm doing the cross listing on Vendu. But Vendu's been really nice. We like its format. But also too, we've been starting to have a lot of conversations with TreeCat. Maybe at some point in the future we'll make a switch. But just for us right now, Vendu, it just makes sense for how we're set up. Again, we like TreeCat. We like the individuals that are behind it. And so maybe if there's a great opportunity someday. But Vendu's been working out. So we do now, like in our numbers reflected, we'll have some Mercari, we'll have some Poshmark. And we're branching into some of those other different platforms. But we're definitely the mindset that we want to learn just one or two platforms at a time, then really know it to where we feel comfortable before we start branching out into other platforms and different things. We'd rather do one thing well than and again, from our perspective of well, which is we're making money to where it makes financial sense. We want to learn one well, and then from there branch out and explore some of the others. So let's see here. Am I falling behind? Losing track. Okay, so Spam Banshee, Paul Rose, but we haven't added any vids in a long time. Paul Rose, Spam Banshee. Yeah, I keep meaning to watch a few of those. Oh, is that the couple of dinks? Yeah, the couple of dinks. That was adorable. And early on too, I tried to ask you guys about the channel, and you're like, okay, yeah, we do have another channel, but and it wasn't until later that you guys shared what the couple of dinks was, and that was really adorable. You guys are like real life fun to watch, and that's awesome. I'm still getting pictures of this garment before I lose track there, but yeah. So Paul Rose, definitely recommend checking those out. They're loads of fun. Roro, you're talking to Jack. So Jack, major win. So much research. Unfortunately, retiring, moving to other teams, that doesn't matter on performance. But let's see. But I don't do anything now. I had the second baseball shop in Idaho in 1987. Let's see here. So yeah, that doesn't matter. Yeah, we are so limited with our baseball card knowledge and everything that we're looking at patterns on a very limited amount of data for us, and we're still doing research on the actual community for cards and everything. But we definitely too, I think we picked up some bad habits with baseball cards because we primarily got into it in the pandemic. We had one of our auction houses that they just had such a crazy low cost on it. We got a whole pallet of they were the 2021 Chrome for tops, and like they were selling the individual boxes for less than 20% of what they were valued at. So we got into them very fast, and so our knowledge just exploded. But then too, the card market hit some ripples and some challenges and everything that we really, for our experience, weren't ready to take head on. So we very quickly kind of we didn't shut it down, but we kind of set that aside. And so we still have plenty of baseball cards up on our account. I'm sure the price needs to be adjusted on a lot of them. And I do plan on circling back and getting more involved with them again. But for me right now, clothing is just really our bread and butter where we're getting the most interest and getting the best results. And after that is toys and different things. And so for us at the moment, it just makes more sense to continue that effort because we still have so much to learn. Again, can't emphasize enough the fact that we're not coming in as a guru, but rather just somebody that is um, we're enjoying the limited success that we've gotten. So we're just trying to keep that rolling in a healthy, consistent way. That one thing that was a bad pattern that I had, especially in my younger years, is I'd start to get on a good track, and then I'd get my ADD involved, and then I'm on to the next thing, on to the next thing, and then it's not even becoming a jack of all trades. It's like becoming a seven of hearts of all trades, and like definitely talking about master of none. So for us now, we're just really trying to work on just slowing the roll a little bit, getting consistency, getting results that are showing that it's following a consistent pattern, and then from there, only when that feels really like it's on concrete footing, then starting to branch out a little bit more. Oh, let's see here. But yeah, let's see that. So I'm gonna look away from the chat for just a minute while I get this inseam measurement. Oh. Okay, now I can pop back up and see what's going on. Let's see here. Biff Buffalo, if you're a baseball junkie, sports cards is no problem. I used to be one. Biff Buffalo, you and 6x6, I think I hear that you guys have been like everything. You and also Basket Noodle and a few others. That's really cool. Paul Rose sold a vintage Louisville Slugger a while ago. That's all the baseball I know. That and Must Kill the Queen from. Oh, that's really funny. That is so funny. I wasn't a baseball fan actually. I mean, I wasn't against baseball. I loved going to a game, having a hot dog, and hopefully the team that we showed up for won. But but I wasn't a committed baseball fan. Whereas my mom is crazy baseball fan. Like as long as I can remember, she knows every player on the team and all the stuff that's going on. But we became baseball fans once we got into all those baseball cards, and we started to learn about all the players and all that stuff. And so that then really made the whole process a lot more fun. And it was kind of funny too that like we were just at a restaurant like a while back, and I'm sitting there watching the game for the sports cards. There's somebody else there that apparently he's using some kind of like sports betting program, and he's watching the game because he's decided to play some bets on some stuff. And it was kind of funny. We just laughed. Like neither of us were there, like just watching the baseball game, but we each had separate interests for what we were looking at. So not promoting any sports betting or anything there too, but it's just yeah. So it's just kind of funny. Sometimes you watch it for you realize that there's a variety of reasons why somebody needs a game. And now I'm at a point too, just from the work of everything, that I need a game where I never understood when I was growing up, like guys, when they go to like some place and they're just like sitting there staring at the baseball game. I totally get that now, where you just need a guy hitting a ball outside of the baseball park, and that's all that your brain can really handle. Like that's definitely something that I relate to a lot more now, especially as you try to take on a few different projects. So yeah, definitely, I can relate to that. Oh, let's see here. So actually, in two Paul Rose, last time I was out in Kentucky, we went and checked out the Louisville factory. That was a fun education. I got a bunch of pictures with they got like some life size models of like Derek Jeter and Babe Ruth, and you could hold like Babe Ruth's bat and stuff that they actually played with. That was a really fun experience. Like my whole family
Stan
liked
may
it.
have just coined a new word. Doromo? Doug Row Motivation?
Doromo, get the Doromo. Maybe that'll be our. That everyone's telling us now that we're starting this up that we need to develop a catchphrase. So the Doromo, get the Doromo, get the Doromo on the go. But yeah, so that's so funny. It's cool that we've had so many people like stopping by and everything. We're an hour and a half in, babe. Like we've just been kind of cruising right now.
Very cool.
So we won't go too much longer. We know you guys got a lot to do, and we don't want to be that channel where it's like, oh man, you guys are on. I don't know if I've got like 3 hours of time, but it's been really cool. You guys have just been again so generous with us with sharing your knowledge and all the tips and everything. We view you as like we say it all the time, but we do really view you as like our big brothers because you guys have helped us so much learn all this stuff. I mean, it's let's see, yeah, that needs to be cleaned. That's got a big spot on it that I'll clean later. But yeah, you guys have definitely been very supportive. And when you get started with all this stuff, your fears could easily get a hold of you, and you just think that you're going to face all the worst of what could happen. And I mean, who knows? Time will tell. Maybe that's still coming. But at least as it is right now, we've really been grateful for the fact that you all have been comfortable letting us be us, and let us be new and share our experience and gain new knowledge while you share it. So that's been really awesome. But yeah. So Jackson, we're definitely in agreement when you say that learning is never a problem. Just don't pay the price for a Harvard education when a state college will do. We're 110% in agreement with that. Like, so for me, I didn't even graduate from a community college, but I took specific classes and I focused on individual trades, and I went through the Cisco Networking Academy. So I learned like a lot of the Cisco networking management kind of classes and everything, and network engineering principles. And that to me was huge. Like you learn discipline from that. You learn how to get into really advanced technical requirements. And I had a lot of people that I knew that were paying for really expensive educations and everything. And it's like, so many of them didn't actually end up with what they actually were initially going to school for. That I looked at that and was like, well, I don't have a ton of money anyways, and I've got other things that I prefer to do with my time. So yeah, I'm fully in agreement with that. That I think if you could just get a good trade under your belt, and then if it's something that you enjoy doing for work, I mean, realistically, for a lot of us, we got bigger things in life than just work that we're wanting to give our attention to, anyways. Alrighty, so I got some Dockers here. It's probably go for about $15 after all said and done. List them for 20, sell them for 15. But I'm gonna address something on these off camera really quick here. But let's see here. Okay, so let's take a look. So spam benching, editing photos and creating drafts, appreciating the Doromo. That's really cool. Paul Rose, I have the Babe listed on VHS big box of all things at the moment. Okay, that's cool. The Babe, that's really awesome. And there's so many good baseball movies. Like, what was the one that there was one that we watched that it was Moneyball. Even Moneyball, we had that in the background in our very early days. Yeah, in the very early days of getting started up doing these listings and everything. I love the movies of a guy that's like, especially one that he's like past his prime.
It's incredibly difficult.
Yeah, exactly. Like, tell him how easy it is, Walt. It's incredibly hard. Everything worth doing is. But I like those movies where it's a guy that's like technically past his prime, but he's toughing it out and he's trying something new and he's getting a good result. It's really nice. We just like that kind of thing where it allows you to realize the fact that it ain't over till it's over. Just keep on trucking. Hey, anytime, Picker, good to see you with us. Hey, nice to have you with us, man. Oh, let's see here. Jack, I dropped out at 19, English and Russian major. Okay. All right. So many questions just from that. And opened my comic card game store from ground up. So, Jack, so it sounds like you and 6x6 and Biff Boff and everything talking a similar language with all that. Yeah, just so yeah, game store. Was it electric game or electronic games or was it board games, Jack, for the store? I'm very curious. We got hit with some questions, so we're asking you some questions now. All right. Let's see. Oh, Dunro, you are genuinely nice, decent people. Do you get any trolls? Just know it's them and not you, and ignore it. I think we had one on Flipping It Easy last night, just trying to push buttons, didn't we? Yeah, I only saw part of that last night, Paul. So I think I missed the part with the troll. I did see the mention of it a little bit down the road, but I didn't see it initially. Yeah, we haven't even had to deal with that as of yet, and so we got a couple people with a wrench in here. So if you guys see anything, please feel free to get off of there. That I mean, we're definitely the kind where when we have our show and everything, we're not going to get anything as much as we can. That's hopefully a heated subject or that's very controversial. We're just focused on the work, and that's what we're all about here. And then get some good results. And thankfully for both Ro and I, we have a lot of experience just from putting ourselves out there in the past with individuals that they don't like what you have to say, and that's okay. That's as long as you're willing to have the conversation, then you'll be able to share ideas and hopefully get to a good place with it. But I'm starting to ramble. But anyways, the long and the short of it is, we're not necessarily averse to different viewpoints and everything, but there's a huge difference between constructive criticism, which we're all about. A mentor of mine had the expression that he said, "Remember, a constructive criticism is actually a future compliment, but you're given the parts and you have to build it yourself." And that was such a good way of framing it in my mind. So like if somebody comes to me very critical and it's just kind of coming at me hard, well then all I look at it and say is, okay, well, what can I pull from this where if I apply it will genuinely benefit me? If not, then I can feel free to dispose of that however I need to. And just that frame of mind, because I grew up a very sensitive kid. And for me, it's like, you know what? If somebody shares something with you, see if there's something that'll benefit you. If there is, keep it. If not, just have the freedom of brain to dispose of it. Like again, the expression, "Don't let them live in your brain rent free." Real estate's expensive up there, and so we're definitely all about that for sure. So anyway, but appreciate the kind word. Thank you, Paul. We save up those kinds of expressions, and that's the antidote as you start to deal with the other garbage. Let's see. Oh, as I put my hand on here and start shaking the camera, just start rocking the camera, guys. All right. So Jack Midway became a professional writer, and my main thing was being head freelance writer for Magic the Gathering Pro Tour. Oh man, you guys have all kinds of experience. I created the coverage platform, which other games adopted. Fun times. Yeah. When I was a teenager, I worked in the marketing department for like another game. It wasn't anything related to like Magic or any of that stuff, but it was kind of cool. I went to one convention where I got to meet like I mean, it's funny you were probably there, but it was just a general board game convention thing, and we got to meet like the people that invented Trivial Pursuit and a bunch of other things, and it was cool for me being a teenager. It was really nice to hear them speak and how they talked about game development and different things. And like, so again, I've never personally was a Magic the Gathering kind of like person, but there's definitely a lot of other games that were kind of, like similar thing where you use a D20 and whatever. And that I was totally into and had a blast with. So, but that's crazy though, you guys experience. Jack, but based off of what you shared in the past too, I would have never thought that you had that connection to the game world. That's wild. But yeah, but Anytime Picker, so glad to have you with us. Are you Craig, right? Craig is Anytime Picker. I'm trying to remember. Wait, no, is that Roman? Roman Craig? Oh man, I'm losing it. I'm trying to. It's like we've had so many people generously share like who they are and share their channel. So I'm sorry if I'm getting the names wrong, everybody. But it's great to see you on today. Yeah, board RPG. Yeah, and CCGs. I remember too. There was like when I was doing games a lot and everything, one of the biggest things that was all the rage that everybody around was just talking about was the Battlestar Galactica collectible card game, and that was cool because it came out in like the octagon or hexagonal like card format. I'm about to nerd out. We're gonna lose like half people's interest here, but let's see here. And so let's see, Spam Banshee. I'll throw the wrench at him if I figure out how. That's great, Spam. I know it's like for a lot of our moderators, I think like we assigned a bunch of moderators that are like so nice and easygoing that it's like they probably never had to use the wrench before. Let's see here. So anytime picker just said that's true. I wonder if that's in reply to it being either Roman or Craig. Well, whichever you are, please let me know because I want to get it right. But so Jack, all the kids I covered when they were teens are now in their 40s and are the movers and shakers in gaming. It's insane. I was open from 1987 to 1994. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, so you're like an OG. Oh, so so Roman, I love hearing you. Okay, so I'm making that connection again. Sorry, sorry for the confusion there, but Roman, good to see you on here. I'm so happy to have you. Yeah, I mean, I should have gotten it right. I've been starting to really watch and enjoy your channel, and I love how much the community has such respect for you. I saw somebody mention that the other day that like you started off from scratch and really built something great. I think it was just yesterday that somebody mentioned that on one of their channels talking about you specifically. So you're an inspiration for that. That's really cool. We love just everyday folks that get shoved into the dirt, pick themselves up, make something good from scraps. It's a cool thing to see. So we're really grateful that you're even on right now. And again, sorry about the lens for everybody. We're getting all this stuff. Ooh, that's a cool effect. Fingers, but we're getting it all figured out. But we appreciate you guys. So let's see here. But yeah, I do agree though. It's like what Jerry Seinfeld says about like the skater kids and stuff. It's kind of similar for like the card game kids and everything, where he goes like when he looks at the skater kids, he goes, I know that those kids are going to be okay, and it's because they're taking something hard, they apply themselves to it, they get all figured out. Like all of the people that I knew that were into like the board games and everything, they're the ones now that have all of like the dream job situation. They become their own boss. They have really flexible schedules because they look at the whole situation and they go, okay, let me break this down to the parts. I need my resources. Here's how much I'm expending my resources for every action that I take. And then at the end of the day, you roll the dice and you might get a critical hit, or you might get a one. So yeah, it's really interesting. I love that kind of mentality. I've seen so many of those individuals that have taken that skill set that you get from really keeping track of logistics. Card games, so much to us is logistics and being able to do resource management. That is actually a life skill if it's applied correctly. Or they just become an individual that still just like they go out and all they do all day is play video games. And then, although even that now, you just get a stream account and people seem to be doing really well with that. But let's see here. So, so Roman, again, grateful to have you with us. Jack, Paul Rose, vintage, everyone should be looking for, and if they don't understand it, guidance is pre-1990, clean and super cheap, $5 less. That's interesting. That's good to note. Yeah, yeah, we don't really come across that very often out here. It's kind of like any board game stuff is really kind of dried up, but yeah, but that's an interesting thing to keep an eye out for. So thanks for that. And then Spimeji, Doug, I could see you as a school guidance counselor. Oh man, that actually like I don't know how I feel about the comments. No, I don't want to be a guidance counselor. I just I don't know. I just was raised by my pop. Again, my pop was born in the 40s, and he had a pretty rough childhood and everything. My dad's just the kind though that he just believes in everybody, and he gets really frustrated if he sees people not living up to their potential. And my dad just loves everybody. And if you get to know him, he's so much cooler than I am, and I'm not even joking. But he's just always the guy that roots for the underdog. And there's a lot to that. It benefits so much more of humanity if you don't just celebrate the ones that are doing the very best, but if you celebrate the guys that are kind of in the gutter, then there's a certain beauty to that for sure. Let's see here. I used to count cards on a blackjack team. All right, Jack, man, you got you got a story, man, for sure. I'd lose as much as 1,000 a day, but get it back next, as it's just math. Yeah, I would treat gaming and selling the same way math works. We totally do agree that math works, and that was the hardest thing for me. Is yeah, as long as you can count. But that was the hardest thing for me as a kid was the fact that I knew math works, and I just was not. My brain just did not work well with math. But now, as I've gotten older, for me, I realize looking back, I don't do good if you just talk theory, where it's just like, well, theoretically, here's how algebra can apply to real life. But if you show me the practical application, then I will keep that and I will lock it in and I'll do my best to apply it. But we can't just be talking, different math. What's the term I'm even looking for? I can't just talk math formulas. I need math application. And so that actually was a good lesson for me now growing up, that as we even go through this, we don't want to just be like, hey, hypothetically we do reselling stuff. Well, what practically do? We put it up on our little photo station here. Here's the pictures that I take. And later we'll get into how long it actually takes us to list and all of that stuff. So yeah, I realize for me, and how I even best teach others to do things is I have to just simplify it down to the key facts and make practical application of it. It can't just be something where it's effectively anecdotal or hearsay. I mean, the story is important. That could be a valuable piece, but it can't just be the story. It has to also be, how does this practically apply? How does it beneficial? So that's really good. Again, I mean to get back to work here, but you guys, your comments are just they're really firing up my brain cells here. So it's good conversation. Let's see. I can see me being guided by a counselor. Paros, that's really funny. Yeah. We all need a little bit of like, we all need a little bit of help. All right. We all need to get a little bit extra support. Let's see here, Jack. The problem with eBay is that I know the math, and what they're doing goes against the math. You can figure out what they're doing. Let's see, to the algo by how the math changes. And actually, Jack, see, that's why we need you. That's why you're such a like, and it might be what gets your goat, but that's why you're the goat, the greatest when it comes to helping us have our sanity with the algorithm and everything. Because the algorithm's the algorithm. Like we said the other day, don't cry over it because it won't cry over you. But the reality is too that it can drive you crazy if you're doing the consistent pattern that should benefit you, and there are external factors that are affecting your process, that are disrupting, especially what has been your pattern of achieving success. And I think that's where, for us too, is we're breaking down all of the conversation that's going on around all this stuff right now. I think if we're to like condense down the biggest frustration that a lot of individuals are having, is that they're okay with change, but the pattern necessary for adapting to the change on the platform, it has been unclear. It's been a fog of war for being able to navigate around that. And then there's a lot of evidence for individuals that their pattern should still hold true for gaining interest in their items and making sales. And so there's definitely a clear break in individuals following a pattern that is historically proven beneficial and achieving a successful result, with then looking at the external factors that we have no involvement in and them affecting our success with it. So and that is absolutely a frustration when like I think it was an old Star Trek quote, not to get too nerdy here, but what was it, Picard to Data, where he says, Data, sometimes you can do everything right and still lose. That's not incompetence, that's life. And so that quote, when I saw that as a kid on Star Trek Next Gen, that quote stuck with me hard, where it's like, that's true. Sometimes you do everything right and still lose. It's not necessarily that you're doing anything wrong. It's that, hey, you know what? There will be factors at play that, if you show up on the basketball court and it's me versus Shaquille O'Neal, even with Shaquille O'Neal retired out, I know he's going to dunk on me. That's going to be an external factor that I can't help. So yeah, that being said, then it's up to me there'll always be an opportunity for some move where I might have a shot. And if I could find that opportunity, it's my responsibility to then put in the work to try to get it. And so like right now too, we've seen even though we got 25% growth this last year, by all of the efforts that we did, we were expecting to see like 50% growth at least. And so that's very frustrating too, to like put in all of this extra effort and then the return be so significantly smaller. But and that could just be us. It could be that all of the challenges that we ran into with all that it was purely our own effort, and it actually be unrelated. I mean, what if we learn after everything that, and for us, and I'm just talking purely Ro and I, what if we learn after everything that it was still our process that was hindering us from achieving the result that we're expecting, and it is unrelated to the external factors? Then what would you do about it? Would you be frustrated, or would you just say, okay, well then let's just get back to work and learn? So we assume kind of the former, where we just go, you know what, let's go ahead and work on our process. And as much as it does depend upon us, we'll go ahead and try to make the adjustments. It's really, all we can do in a way that keeps our sanity. Because if we get spun up about whatever the algorithm's doing or whatever, it's just going to drive us crazy. especially to not being math people naturally. Us chasing an algorithm would just make us batty. Let's see here. Always been to movies. So you used to read the novelizations of films. I was too young to see. It gave me great English language skills from an early age, a warped sense of humor. That's funny, Paul Rose. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if like those kind of movies would be recommended learning for kids to master the language on. It has definitely made your comments like have their own character for sure. But that's well, we love you for all that you contribute, though, Paul, for everything that's really funny. And we love to laugh. That's one thing you'll find about us too. That like as you share your experiences and all the stuff, we love laughing along with you. So so your sense of humor, Paul, is absolutely much appreciated. So Major Win, we love all the quotes you quote. You know, it's funny. So during the pandemic, we had some friends of ours that really had a tough time. And so what I started to do just for the fun of it is I started to write out postcards to some people, and I would send them a postcard every day with like these funny expressions on it. And it's funny how many of those are now like locked in my brain. And a lot of them were really practical quotes that aren't just a fun saying; they actually really do apply to life. So those are really fun. Let's see here. So, Jack, trust me, it's not you. You're the type who's better this year than last. Imagine being the greatest and having a platform push a button and lose half of your sales. That's sad. And yeah, uh, yeah, and I guess that's part of the advantage of what I think Ro and I bring to the community right now is the fact that we don't have much perspective about how it used to be. So we're coming in with whatever it is. And so we can't really say that it's good or bad, hot or cold or whatever, because it's like, well, you know what? Like we got in mid-pandemic, and so we knew it was good. We knew though from the looking at the world scene that like, okay, it has to be the best it's going to get for online sales because nobody can go anywhere, but people still have a need for things, and especially they have a need for comfort. And people in many cases will try to pacify the need for comfort with things. And so we knew as we're getting into it, like, hey, this is going to feel really good for our sales right now, but don't count on that. But in the past few years, when we saw it drop, then we're like, okay, well, maybe this is what normal looks like on the platform. So that's where it was really interesting, where we heard a lot of people say, no, this is not normal. This is way low, or this is way disrupted compared to what we're expecting. We go, oh, okay. So maybe we were then aiming our expectations too low after everything, which again, that also helped us. We were like, okay, yeah, everything, this is normal. This is how everything goes. And like everyone else is going around going, this is nuts. Everything is like uh, just absolutely blocked right now. And so that was kind of funny. Like we were kind of in the middle. We like didn't really fully appreciate the fact that like it was the best sales like we're ever going to be really during the pandemic time, but also too when things really kind of bottomed out, we're just like, okay, so this is probably the normal level of where everything's at. And it was only from outside input from you very experienced sellers where you're like, no, 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 we've been in this for 20 years. This is wild what's happening right now. Like this is too radical of a fluctuation. Spam that like you make a perfectly perky team. It's so funny. Before this, we've never been called perky before in our life. Like, I've been told that I talk too much, as like we see here. I should be getting back to work with the clothing items, but again, I'm making sure I keep up with the chat here. But so I've been told I talk too much, and that's fair. But yeah, perky is definitely a brand new one. So that's really when first time we saw that, we laughed so hard. And this was funny too. Is like it's nice having a pop that was born like in the middle of World War II, and then I had a grandfather that survived the Great Depression, and you just spend so much time with these guys. And I knew my grandfather up until I was in my teens before he passed away. And the lessons you get from these guys, it's like, just don't sweat it the way a lot of these other folks are sweating it. And yet still, here I am. I'm super prone to anxiety naturally, and all these different like counterproductive personality aspects. And so, for me, worry still sets in and all these things, but I'm glad I had a lot of influences in my life where it's just like, hey, you know what? Like we've seen the worst of it. You'll be okay. And sometimes we just need that reminder. But let's see here. Jack, did your ranking in 78s and now QR fall when you okay, Biff Bob, you're speaking a whole nother language to Jack that I won't even try to take on right now. I'll read that comment later and see if I could decode it. Whole category, same with books, same with other things. One day, same day. I can't believe there's 14 of y'all in here right now too. That's boggling my mind. But it's really cool. We're so glad to have you. So Paul Rose, there's no real way to figure out or game the algorithm anymore. All we can do is keep working and hope we get thrown enough scraps from the table. Seriously, doing what they say they want doesn't work. Yeah, and so that's what Ro and I are trying to do right now is just absorb from all of you. What did it look like before? What is it looking like right now? And again, we're getting a lot of that from our own operations of things, and then we're looking at it from the perspective, yeah, what is in our realm of being proactive, where we can take this head on and start to address it. Anything else, we just don't worry about. And we understand that the fight is a little bit different for those of you that are full time with reselling. It would be a radical thing to have to take that head on. We're trying to be very cognizant of that, especially when we talk about our process and what's going on, being very transparent and clear that this is something that is hopefully a future opportunity for us, but definitely we're fed by my primary job. So we can make mistakes, we can have dead days, and it definitely still affects us. Like we do rely on this as a part of our income as a family. So it's not like it's just all bonus bucks or anything. But there's a certain layer of buffer there that we can absorb some off days in a way that some in the community have expressed would be really, really extremely rough for them. And so we're really mindful of that. We don't want anybody to be going through a hard time. In fact, it's one of those things too where it's like, hey, we want to be good sellers just so that we don't give anybody a reason to not be on the platform, and it really affect you guys. So that's why too we are super serious about keeping track of defects. And one of these days too, we'll show you what our packaging looks like. We try to make it very friendly, that we know people are paying for these things, but still we send it to where it hopefully looks really, really nice for somebody as they receive it. So we understand that even though we're part time, our part time work can really affect the results for full timers. So we don't want to mess with that at all. All right, let's see here. Biff Boffo, my sales tank, but my ranking stays in the top 20. So either the category sucks or eBay sucks, but then I have bounce back periods, which tells me it's eBay. Well, and one thing too, it's weird. It's weird for us across so many different categories that you'll see that when one of us is down, most of us are down. Like it will be weird that usually when most of us are down, there'll still be like one or two people that will jump in there and say, actually, I'm still doing great. Like I'm having awesome sales. And then, well, the majority of us will be off to the side going, well, my sales are totally in the dumpster right now. And so that is in particular, I think when we all take notice is when we see a wave of it just hit us all at once. So it'd either be that all customers, and that does happen around like holiday stuff, where all of a sudden everybody's taking off for a certain day, and definitely we'll see that affect our sales. But in the days when there's not that kind of external factor, when we all start to hit a dead spot, that does raise an eyebrow where we wonder, okay, what's going on here? Let's see here. Jack, I love talking to customer service. Then we decide they're going to dive into my account, my listing quality. I ask them if being in the upper 1% means anything. They drop it. Yeah, Jack, I know. Yeah, for you, I think, you've mentioned how this has been a particular pain point for you in the past. That's definitely frustrating where, it should be on a scale where for those that have long-standing accounts, that there's some extra hand-holding and support that's provided because I mean, that really is the backbone of the platform because otherwise you'll get the fade in, fade out sellers. But those that have really a consistent track record that have proven consistency for being able to make a client happy and get them good results, why would you not zero in on that? Like, I mean, effectively, that's like a star salesman at a company. You want to make sure that that star salesman sticks around and you let them know that they're appreciated. You give them whatever support that they need, a measure of white glove service effectively to provide support. And that's something that I think could see some opportunity for improvement for sure. Let's see here. If I never call those people, figure it won't help. It's funny. Jack, I call them to get whatever they're trying to push for the book. That's funny. Spam Banshee, is the auction done? Did you get lots of stuff? So we'll see. We'll see if Biff got any results. You got too much stuff. Paul Rose, I always find that super insulting when they say, "Well, I can't see anything wrong with your account." Feel like Jack Nicholson in Batman. I didn't ask. Yeah, that's funny. Um, and then spam, I got so much. Actually, so one thing that's really fun about Rowan, I just like a little side reselling anecdote. When we first started getting into some online auctions for some of our sourcing, and that's now a very small portion of what we get our sourcing from. But as we first got into that, we're like, oh, well, certainly we're going to be outbid on a lot of these items and everything. So we bid on a bunch of different items on several different auctions and everything. And it happened to be that like we had a bunch of competition, but then it just fell short of where we were at. And so we had like this huge bill come through one time for a bunch of auction items. And we're like, well, we learned our lesson on that one. Thankfully, we were comfortable with the level that we bought everything at, but we weren't expecting all of that wave to come through all at once. And so good items, got good sales from it, but definitely that was an eye opener where it's like, okay, well that stung a little bit for sure. So yeah, let's see. I think that the U.S. workforce eBay fired was replaced by contracting outside the U.S., especially Colombia. That's interesting. Yeah, I haven't thought about where a lot of the support center now is operating from. And it's funny for my work, I work very closely with the support crew and making sure that they have whatever education they need to provide good service to others. So I definitely feel like there's a lot of opportunity to make that better. That in many cases, this is one of the situations where you're stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. Where I think if you have a really well equipped support staff and that they're trained well and that they're trained to make sure that the sellers and buyers have as realistically possible the best experience and not have it be that you're so focused on it just being as low cost as possible, as having the communications be as brief as possible. Like it seems like they'll often try to cut us short as we're trying to work through issues. That's the kind of thing that scares away the good, and you really don't have a desire to do that. And then you'll have the people are that don't care, that are going to be sticking around because it's just another thing for them. And that's not what anybody wants for really growing loyalty to any platform. So let's see here. So Jack, my stats are now 25 years, 14,000 items sold, 100% feedback, 99% plus listing quality, one return out of 14,000. Can't get traffic now. So yeah, Jack, you're on another level, man. We're talking about going for a daily jog, and you're talking about being in the Olympics, and that the games are rigged. So that's definitely you're on a different level for your level of fight. And so all we can say then is we really hope it gets resolved for you in a healthy way, because especially too somebody that has that kind of pattern, you to the rest of us, you provide a safe and helpful platform that by you're doing so well with treating clients with respect and getting good results for them, then you build up eBay being a great platform for us to get clients back to. So that's the kind of thing that absolutely should be appreciated. All right, if I have top 20 GMV, top 10 click through, top 10 conversion, I can't understand why eBay can't just turn me loose. My service metrics are all 100%. Yeah, and that's the biggest fight too. Is that could be a whole separate discussion about talking about throttling and how much that is beneficial to the seller versus just simply hindering the seller's ability for success. I mean, it would be nice if eBay says, "Hey, you're at 100%. We'd like to just cut you loose. Are you okay with that?" And then the seller would go, "Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Let's give it a try for 3 weeks and see how it goes." And after the 3 weeks, eBay reaches back out and says, "Okay, well, how did that go?" And you go, "I'm overwhelmed. Can you throttle it back?" And they go, "Sure, we'll just turn the dial down a little bit, or we'll apply the same algorithm principle that we applied before. Maybe we'll circle back with you in 6 months." And it's a little extra work for sure, but that layer of communication can build loyalty of good sellers, and then two, it allows for a lot more growth. And again, every sale that we make, eBay makes some money. Who wouldn't want to just get that on the freeway with a top-notch engine, being able to go full speed? So let's see here. So laying off 10% is bad, but replacing them secretly with contractors outside the country is worse if it gets out. But that's what happened. Yeah. So yeah, I can't speak to that. I don't know, but Jack, with your level of experience, I'm sure that you've done some very thorough research on all that. But Bob, with AI, you'd think you'd take over and push those with killer metrics. Yeah, I mean, again, that goes back to what we are just saying of like, if you've proved you're a high performer, then let's figure out some way of being able to just let them go. And I mean, if nothing else, too, get that individual in, reel them into the main company, and say, okay, what do you love about the platform? How do you think we can make it grow? And connect with us in a way to where we have a much more clear channel of communication to provide recommendations based off of consistent sales growth and success. Let's see here. Biff Buffalo, Paul Rose says Biff Buffalo ditto, 100% both counts. Glowing feedback thrown in the cricket field. Poor Paul, man. Sorry, man. Span Banshee, we were bidding on an item on Tiki auction. We submitted a bid right at the same time someone else made an instantly high bid, and it registered our bid at $10,000. We never were flattered. Oh yeah, no, that's happened a couple times too. That yeah, we have one of our auction sources and everything. Like they've talked about accidentally making some mistakes with how they set up the auction, and ended up charging like instead of like 7.50 in taxes, it charged 750% in taxes and everything. And that they were very frank with us about the interesting feedback that resulted from that, for sure. That was like, yeah, it was pretty intense. Uh, Jack Paul Rose, I don't consider it being rewarded. One day I had visibility, the next I didn't. Yeah, reward is the wrong word. Just as risk. Yeah, sorry. I mean to get back to do my listings and everything too, but yeah, you guys' comments are really firing up my mind here. But so Jack, the writing comes in. I'll get my pound of flesh. The book will be free on Amazon. That's funny. Yeah, Jack. I'm sure you're getting a good book put together there. And so spam, we had to call the auction house, and they were accommodating. Yeah, that's so good to hear. Jack, I'll probably make all the money back from the book. It's going to be titled Dear Jamie. Oh, that's absolutely funny. All right. I think he'd be happy with what I asked Jamie and essays I sent to him. So Jack, here's the problem. eBay has gotten in the way of us being successful, and by default, we work. Let's see here. We're being good about words on here. Are the best workers, cheapest really, and Jamie doesn't care. Yeah, it's gonna be weird if all things continue as is for the next couple of years, with AI and low cost labor being immediately available. Grant, we're all for everybody being able to live and enjoy a good life with the work results that they get, but there's so many things that are lopsided about just how things operate right now. It's hard for us to even keep track of. I guess I don't even know what I'm saying. It's just yeah, I don't know. We're definitely of the mindset of going for quality though, and whatever you're gonna do. I guess it's the simplest way we could just say it. Let's see here. If I'm not sure what that means, $10,000 will get your attention. But so Paul Rose. So yeah, I'm not sure. But Papa, what is that? The $10,000 but will get your attention. I'm not sure what that is referencing. And then Paul Rose, Yazers, thank heavens for that. You have to pretend you're even better, just not to pay. That is really funny. All right, am I losing the chat again? Okay, so that's where it goes, Paul Rose, totally. Yeah. So, anyways, well, you guys, we're sitting like right at 2 hours too. I should probably let you all go, but we'll start to do this periodically as well, though, where we get on here and we'll just start doing some listings and everything. But again, this is a nice opportunity for us to show you our actual work setup. That we realized in some of our earlier videos the fact that we were talking about our concepts, but we're trying to give real practical evidence of just where we're at and everything. And so let's see here. Oh, that's funny. People were cheering on the live auction stream. Oh, the bid. Oh yeah. So yeah, $10,000 bid will get your attention. Yeah, the $10,000 bid will like. I mean, I don't know how to describe to you like how you'd have to pick me up off the floor if it was a $10,000 bid. I'm like, I'm sorry. Which car am I getting for this price? And at that point, it's like, and what's the payment program look like? But let's see here. Like the Romans at the Colosseum. Yeah, I'm sure that they were going wild spam. That was like that must have been absolutely crazy. Let's see here. This was a major piece, I suppose. That's really funny. But yeah, so anyways, we're gonna be trying to show more about our actual operations. And every once in a while in here, I'm just gonna jump on. If I'm gonna be doing some listings, I'll try to just fire up the live periodically. And so we could go ahead and just work alongside you. It's kind of nice to have some support as you're going through you're going through your work process, to just have somebody that's working along with you. And again, we usually go a little bit faster, but I like to just walk through and explain what we're doing. And because you might see an aspect of that and say, hey, I see that you're doing this. Have you tried doing this thing? One thing that somebody had brought up to us not that long ago that's a great suggestion is getting one of those little button tools for as much clothing as we do, we don't have one of those button tools still. And I mean, for me, I liked manually going through and adjusting each of the buttons, but it's at a point now where it will probably lead to our happiness having that little tool available and that we're working with. So, anyways, but we really do. This is actually really fun though to be able to share our photo station setup a little bit later today too. I am going to be going through and I'll be working on our individual little photo box, and if I can get the camera set up for it in the future, I'll go ahead and get it on camera as well. But at this point, it's so far away that you guys won't really be able to see or enjoy what's going on. But yeah, it's cool, something authentic. Let's see here. So Jack, doing a normal reset every fourth day as I watch good shows. Thanks. And you know what's actually funny? We've been getting consistent sales, and over the past few weeks, our listings have dropped down because we've been trying to get used to the whole new schedule of like creating these videos and everything. So we're trying to get back on a good listing pattern. Hence why I'm even doing this today. But especially coming from you, Jack, that actually means a lot for the fact that I know you're really particular about your time and where you spend gathering up information or even sharing with the whole reseller community. So you taking some time out to join us today, super appreciated. And the knowledge that you've shared is absolutely it's insightful, but also too we've gotten some now great knowledge just by you jumping in and participating in the conversation. So just know we really appreciate you taking the time on here. And if there's times when it doesn't work out, we'll certainly miss you, but we completely understand that you got limited time and attention, but we absolutely value your opinion and your insights. So yes, Biff, it would have to be a looking mess like Jim Carrey movie for $10,000. I think it has to be gold. It'd have to be solid gold, not even gold plated, Paul, for sure. And so Ben Banshee, Paul Rose, just Tiki Peep supporting the grand fads of Tiki. A bidding was insane. Oh, I'm sure that was absolutely wild. I've never even heard of a Tiki auction, so I wouldn't even know what I'm looking at. So Midwin, thanks, but there are other great people. Sad part is there are those who don't know that there's a problem, though they've lost sales. We need to fix this, yeah. And and that's one thing too. Like you'll notice about us, we're aware that there's a lot of stuff that still needs to be improved. For our part, we're just going to be, as we jump on here, we're going to be talking a lot about what we're trying to do, what we directly have control of, and but just so that we have awareness of the fact that there's a greater discussion going on to get a lot of stuff addressed as well. That frankly, for our standpoint on it, we're so new to the whole conversation that we still realize that our opportunity for improvement is probably still the biggest room in the house. So Doe and Ro, thank you guys. Have a great evening. Get some rest. We appreciate this immensely. And you know what? This is wild, you guys. I was planning on going here for like an hour tops, and you guys have absolutely been just awesome for supporting, creating some really great conversations about all this stuff that, yeah, we just really appreciate all the practical things that everybody's shared. So, and Paul Rose, I hope, Paul, you got to be getting to sleep soon, man. Isn't it like 2 a.m. out where you're at? But Paul said, yeah, Jack, it's the ones who pretend you're the problem I have the issue with. I just disengaged at that point. And that's one thing too, like we don't see anything productive about targeting any individuals and or especially individual operations and being like, hey, well, you guys are the problem. It's like, well, no, I mean, there's enough conversation to where it proves just by the circumstance that it's not isolated incidents. Okay, so 11:12 p.m. That's truly crazy. Paul, thank you so much for sticking with us so late. And Mike Seller, so glad you've been here with us the entire time. Mike Seller has probably been the best out of all of us for just like having us on in the background while actually getting these listings done. But I've got I think roughly about 10 items over here. So it's kind of a slow day for me, but considering the fact that I was so low energy that I was otherwise going to likely be at zero and just take the rest of Saturday off, I'm actually really happy with that result. But we'll do it a little bit quicker over time too. But when we have these share sessions, I'm just going to go ahead and go at a leisurely pace and just provide some kind of listing support on in the background. But again, it's very important to us that you guys actually do see that we want you to see our process. So we don't talk just theoretical. Later potatoes, happy sales and happy trails. Paul, have a great night, friend. Hope everything goes well for you. Have a great rest of your day tomorrow. And then Spam Banshee, aloha. Take care, everybody. Again, thanks so much for hopping on the live. And Jack, great to see you here. So I'd say, Benjamin, why didn't you garage sale today? So really quick on that one, I will share.
You drive.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I had to put the blinders on because we're taking care of some other stuff with the garage sales and everything. But at this point, we actually don't do garage sailing very much for our operation. That we've been working on building up relationships with some different companies and everything, where they actually will bundle stuff for us. They and we make arrangements to get it from them, and most of the stuff is already kind of pre-packed.
You do want to go. You want to do yard sales though.
I do. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy them. I totally enjoy the yard sale aspect of it for sure. But right now, we don't have an issue with the amount of stuff that we've got. We have an issue with getting all that stuff picked and listed. So right now, what we're trying to do is, before we really max out our storage capacity to where it's no longer healthy for us to store it. Like right now, it only takes up a small section of our garage, but it could be, it could be very overwhelming if we get too many more loads. So right now we don't focus on the garage sales, but we focus on for all of the bundles of clothing that we get, we sort them for what's ready, what needs to be cleaned, and where we need to go ahead and redonate that. And we don't donate to Goodwill; it goes right to families that need. So, anyways, well, we appreciate y'all. Again, I promise I'll wrap it up. I don't want it to be the way we go, hey, we're wrapping it up. Okay, in another 15 minutes. But anyways, so Jack, here's my win of the day. First stop today, spent 10 cents on a book. Let's see, a book, look for it all times. So $120 by night's end. Well, Jack, I'm glad you got a major win, man. That is absolutely crazy. But yeah, time for me to list now. I pulled a couple of nice things at the sales today. Biff, well, congratulations on that too. That we're really glad that you guys are on here sharing your major wins. Where's Leia? I don't know. Our dog's around here. Oh, she's over there in the corner. But yeah, well, have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by. Look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Take care, you guys.